Hey there, fellow travelers through time. Wherever you're watching or listening from, be it a sun-drenched morning or a quiet, star-filled night, take a moment to hit that like button and let us know in the comments. Where are you right now? The year is 1347, and as the last vestiges of twilight bleed from the western sky, a deep chill begins to creep into the bones of the world. You stand at the threshold of your simple dwelling, the scent of damp earth and wood smoke clinging to your rough wool tunic, a permanent aroma of medieval life. The sun dipped below the horizon hours ago, taking with it all but the feeblest, flickering light from the single tallow candle stub. Supper, a meager but filling bowl of pottage and a piece of hard bread, was consumed long before the shadows grew long, and now your stomach is settling, already anticipating the long stretch until the next meal. There's no question of a late-night snack in this world, not with every crumb counted, every ember precious, and no reliable way to keep food from spoiling overnight. The enforced fasting feels natural, an ancient rhythm your body has always known. Inside, the hearth fire casts dancing, orange fingers across the rough-hewn walls, its heat a fragile sphere against the pervasive cold. You watch your younger siblings, already huddled together, a tangle of limbs beneath a patchwork of rough woolen blankets, their breaths misting faintly in the air as they settle onto the straw-filled mattress. This isn't just a bed, it's a shared haven, a strategic fort against the relentless chill that gnaws at the edges of every evening. The straw rustles and shifts under their collective weight, a soft, dry whispering sound, and you push down the thought of the unseen life that surely shares its warmth, a discomfort you've learned to ignore. You move to the communal sleeping area, your bare feet meeting the cold-packed earth floor. It's a sharp jolt, a familiar reminder of winter's omnipresent bite that permeates every moment. You feel the coarse texture of the blankets as you pull them back, the air momentarily colder as the accumulated warmth escapes. You lie down, carefully maneuvering your body into the space, nestling close to another family member, feeling the immediate, welcome warmth of their skin radiating through their clothes. It's a comfort born of necessity, a primal huddle against the elements. The profound lack of artificial light means your body is already deeply attuned to the darkness that has fallen, your eyelids heavy, your mind beginning its descent into slumber. Around you, the household breathes in unison, a chorus of sighs and soft adjustments. The day's exhaustion, wrought by endless labor in the fields, hauling water, or working at the loom, pulls at every muscle, a weight sinking you deeper into the straw. The air is thick with the smell of unwashed bodies, wood smoke, and the faint, earthy sweetness of old straw. You close your eyes, the warmth slowly spreading through your core, a delicious surrender. Your thoughts, so busy during the day, begin to unravel and quiet. There are no books to read by lamplight, no distant voices from a glowing screen. Only the crackle of the dying fire and the rustle of straw against the quiet of the night. This isn't the final sleep of the night. It's merely the first, a deep, restorative dive into darkness, meant to last only a few short hours before the silent call of the midnight watch. For now, you drift, a small, resilient part of this ancient rhythm, your body sinking into the communal warmth, accepting the temporary reprieve from the relentless chill, unaware of the profound strangeness this simple act of nightly rest would one day hold for future generations. A subtle shift in the darkness draws you from the depths of your first sleep. It's not a sudden jolt, but a gentle, almost imperceptible unwrapping of consciousness, as natural as breathing. Your eyes flutter open, adjusting to the absolute blackness that presses in from every corner of the dwelling, broken only by the faint, ruddy glow of the embers still clinging to life in the hearth. The air, though still frigid, feels less hostile than when you first lay down. Your body, refreshed after 4 hours of deep rest, feels a peculiar quiet energy, a readiness that seems to come from within. You listen, and the sounds around you confirm the collective awakening. The rustle of straw from another sleeping form, a soft cough, a shift in weight as someone stretches. This is the watch, the time between worlds, a scheduled intermission in the long night. You carefully untangle yourself from the communal warmth. The brief exposure to the cold night air, a sharp reminder of the world outside your small, human huddle. You rise slowly, your bare feet finding the familiar, cold earth. Nearby, a low murmur begins. It's not conversation as you know it, but a shared sigh, a quiet presence exchanged between those who also find themselves awake. Perhaps it's an older woman, tending a tiny flame to mend a torn piece of cloth, her fingers nimble in the near darkness. Or a farmer, silently checking the tethered goat, making sure it's settled and warm. The tasks are small, practical, essential. You might take a moment to carefully nudge a log deeper into the embers, coaxing a bit more warmth to radiate outward. The fleeting orange light painting fleeting shadows on the faces of those still lost in their slumber. In another corner, you hear the soft, rhythmic creak of a wooden cradle, a familiar sound. A parent, roused like you, is already rocking a restless child, perhaps offering a soothing touch or a quiet hum, a timeless struggle against a little one's midnight cries. You understand that weary patience, the endless devotion woven into the fabric of these dark hours. You don't speak aloud, but your mind is awake, reflective. Thoughts that were too jumbled by the day's demands now come with a quiet clarity. You might recall a passage from a prayer you learned, or contemplate the coming day's chores, planning the turning of the soil or the mending of a net. This isn't a time for frantic activity, but for quiet internal work, for contemplation. The world outside, deep in its slumber, feels distant, allowing a rare sense of introspection. The air, though still carrying the scent of smoke and damp earth, feels calmer now, pregnant with the silent work of human connection and quiet purpose. You might shift closer to the hearth, feeling the weak, persistent warmth on your skin, the only reliable source of heat on a cold night. You share a silent glance with someone else who is also awake, a subtle acknowledgement of shared experience. A quiet bond forged in the deep hours when artificial light does not exist to sever the night. You move without urgency, your body accustomed to this rhythm, this gentle pause. This brief waking period, so foreign to a world lit by switches and screens, feels utterly natural here. A vital pulse in the long, dark journey toward dawn. And as the initial burst of energy begins to wane, a new, gentle pull towards sleep starts to assert itself, signaling the imminent return to your second sleep, a deeper, final descent until the sun once again claims the sky. Your body anticipates this return, sinking into the quiet, an ancient pattern of rest and gentle wakefulness. The sharp, jarring clang of the monastery bell shatters the deepest part of your sleep. It's not a gentle awakening, but a forceful summons that echoes through the cold stone walls of the dormitory, cutting through the heavy darkness. Your eyes snap open, the lingering warmth of your thin, straw-filled mattress immediately abandoning you as the icy grip of the pre-dawn air asserts itself. It's barely 2 a.m., the deepest hour of the night, and yet, the call to Matins has arrived. You push yourself upright, your body stiff with cold, the rough wool of your habit feeling like a second skin even in your drowsy state. A shiver snakes down your spine, not just from the chill, but from the unwavering discipline that governs every moment of your existence here. Around you, other silent figures stir, rising from their simple beds, a rustle of coarse fabric and the soft sigh of straw. Each movement is deliberate, practiced, a ritual performed countless times. Your bare feet meet the frigid flagstone floor, the shock a familiar jolt that clears the last vestiges of sleep. You reach for your cowl, pulling it over your head, the rough fabric providing a meager barrier against the biting cold. The only illumination comes from the tiny, sputtering flame of a single taper held by the prior, casting long, dancing shadows that make the silent forms of your brothers seem ghostly, ancient. The air is thick with the scent of damp stone, old parchment, and the distinct, slightly acrid smell of burnt candle wax, a constant companion in these hours of darkness. You join the slow, shuffling procession, your breath misting visibly in the air as you make your way down the winding, unheated corridors. The silence is profound, broken only by the soft scrape of sandals and the distant, haunting hoot of an owl from outside the cloister walls. The cold seeps into your bones, a constant, physical presence that sharpens your senses, making the warmth of communal prayer all the more sought after. Entering the chapel, the vast space feels even colder, the stone arches towering into an unseen ceiling. A few tallow candles, laboriously lit, offer their weak, smoky light, making the carved faces on the pillars seem to peer down at you with solemn eyes. You find your place in the choir stalls, the wooden bench hard and unyielding beneath you. Your fingers, already numb, instinctively reach for the cold leather of your psalter, ready for the chants that will soon fill this hallowed space. This is your watch, not for chores or social chatter, but for devotion, for praise. Your mind, though tired, feels remarkably clear, unbound by the usual distractions of the day. The rhythmic rise and fall of chanted prayers will soon begin, a timeless wave of sound against the vast silence of the sleeping world. You close your eyes for a moment, absorbing the deep, unyielding cold, the austerity of your surroundings, and the profound sense of purpose that draws you from your bed each night. This vigil, these early hours spent in solemn reflection, is not a burden, but the very core of your being, a testament to resilience, and a profound connection to a faith that asks for unwavering dedication against the insistent demands of the body. The last echo of the final chant hangs in the cold air of the chapel, a ghostly hum that slowly fades into the profound silence. Your throat feels dry from the hours of matins, and a deep chill has settled into the very marrow of your bones. As you turn, your gaze sweeps over the dim, candle-lit forms of your brothers, their faces etched with the same quiet endurance. It's still the dead of night, the outside world a deep, impenetrable black. You join the slow, silent procession back to the dormitory, the scrape of sandals on cold flagstone the only sound. The air is heavy with the scent of spent tallow, old stone, and the faint, earthy smell of straw. There's no conversation, no lingering chatter. Only a shared, weary understanding that guides each step through the unlit corridors. Your body craves the warmth it lost hours ago, and your internal clock, though rigorously trained, signals a final, deeper rest. Back in the dormitory, the darkness is almost absolute again, save for the feeblest glimmer of embers in a distant brazier. You approach your bed, a simple wooden frame holding a rustling mattress of straw. It's not the softest landing, nor the cleanest, but it represents the promise of warmth and oblivion. The straw shifts under your weight as you carefully lie down, pulling your thin woolen blanket high over your shoulders. You feel the cold air prickle your skin before the meager fabric begins to trap your body's heat. Your limbs are heavy, not with the aching exhaustion of physical labor, but with the specific fatigue that comes from sustained mental and spiritual effort in the deep quiet of the night. This is your second sleep, a return to slumber that feels different from the first. It's a softer, more willing descent, a gentle folding back into unconsciousness after the structured wakefulness of the watch. Around you, others are also settling. You hear the occasional sigh, a slight adjustment of position, the creak of an old bed frame. Some monks, driven by a stricter inner discipline or a different set of duties, might choose to remain awake, perhaps for quiet contemplation or to prepare the day's parchment by the faintest light. But for you, the pull back into sleep is undeniable, a natural response to the body's need and the monastic rhythm you inhabit. The cold slowly recedes as your body warms the straw and blankets around you. You turn onto your side, curling instinctively, seeking out maximum comfort from the simple bedding. The bugs that might inhabit the straw are an accepted reality, a minor inconvenience against the profound need for rest. You close your eyes, and the darkness behind your eyelids deepens, becoming a vast, welcoming ocean. The discipline of the bells, the chill of the stone, the quiet hum of prayer, all recede, leaving only the sensation of your breath, deep and slow. This final stretch of night before the first hint of dawn is deeply restorative, a final anchoring before the sun rises and the rigorous duties of the day begin. It's a sleep that feels earned, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and body, adapting to a schedule dictated not by convenience, but by custom, faith, and the relentless, natural cycle of light and dark. You drift, held in the quiet embrace of the monastery, part of a rhythm that has shaped countless lives through ages past. The biting cold claws at your exposed skin, an insistent, unwelcome guest that has seeped into every crack and crevice of your humble dwelling. The sun dipped hours ago, swallowed by the long, dark stretch of a harsh medieval winter night. Inside, the last flames of the hearth have dwindled to a heap of glowing embers, casting an anemic, reddish light that barely pushes back the oppressive gloom. The air tastes of wood smoke and damp earth, a familiar, comforting scent that signifies home, even amidst the chill. You shiver, pulling your threadbare tunic tighter, your breath misting visibly as you move. There's no elaborate bed awaiting you, no soft mattress meant for a single sleeper. Instead, a mound of fresh straw, periodically refreshed, lies nearest the hearth, a strategic position against the unrelenting frost. This isn't just a sleeping place, it's a vital pocket of warmth, a shared sanctuary where bodies press close, pooling their heat to fend off the night's icy embrace. You approach the communal bedding, the rustle of straw a soft, dry whisper underfoot. Already, several figures are nestled together, your parents, a younger sibling, an aging grandparent perhaps, a tight knot of humanity under a scattering of rough wool blankets and old, bristly animal furs. The sight of their huddled forms brings a strange comfort, a profound understanding of shared vulnerability. You carefully slide into the remaining space, the straw crackling and shifting around you, conforming to your shape. Immediately, you feel the radiating warmth from the bodies on either side, a sudden, almost shocking relief against the cold that has permeated your limbs. You draw your knees up, instinctively curling into a tighter ball, pressing your back against the solid warmth of another. The fabric of their clothing is rough against yours, but the skin beneath is a furnace. The furs, though coarse and smelling faintly of the animals they once belonged to, add another precious layer, trapping the heat close. As you settle, a silent prayer forms on your lips, a familiar ritual against the unseen dangers that medieval nights are rumored to hold: wandering spirits, ill omens, the lurking fear of something that stirs beyond the faint glow of the embers. You squeeze your eyes shut, trying to banish the lingering chill from your extremities, focusing instead on the steady, shared rhythm of breathing around you. The world outside the thin walls feels vast, frozen, and perilous, but here, in this tight cluster of warmth, there is a profound sense of safety. Your muscles, tired from the day's hard labor, begin to relax, sinking deeper into the straw. The subtle scent of damp earth and close-packed bodies is a powerful lullaby. This is not luxury, it's a raw, elemental act of survival, a testament to the simple, enduring power of human connection against the crushing force of winter. And as sleep begins to claim you, drawing you into its familiar, segmented pattern, you are acutely aware of the precious, fragile warmth, a collective resilience woven into the very fabric of the night. The icy bite of the night air greets your face with a stinging intensity as you shift, pulling the rough animal fur higher over your head. It smells distinctly of cured hide and faintly of the wild creature it once was, a powerful, primal scent that has become synonymous with survival in these long, brutal winters. You burrow deeper into the communal warmth, pressing your back against the solid heat of another sleeping body, feeling the scratchy wool of their tunic against your skin. The hearth, a distant memory of warmth, has long since surrendered to the cold, leaving only faint, ghost-like embers that offer no comfort against the pervasive chill. Your breath still mists in the air, a constant reminder of the bitter temperatures seeping through the gaps in the wattle and daub walls. This is not just a cold night, this is a fight, a relentless battle against winter's teeth, where every bit of shared heat is a precious weapon. You adjust your position, feeling the dry, brittle straw rustle beneath you. It's a temporary mattress, periodically replaced, a barrier between your body and the frigid earth floor. But even with the straw and the dense layers of shared bodies, the cold still feels like it's trying to invade, searching for any weakness. That's where the furs come in. Heavy, coarse, sometimes stiff with cold, they are your true fortress. You can feel the distinct texture of the various hides. Perhaps a deerskin, thick and unyielding, or a softer, smaller rabbit pelt tucked into a gap, offering a surprising pocket of insulation. You trace the edge of a particularly rough fur with numb fingers, feeling its dense pile. It isn't soft, luxurious velvet. It's a testament to necessity, to making do with what the land provides. And as you press your face against its bristly surface, you appreciate its silent, unyielding protection. The combined scent of damp wood smoke, unwashed bodies, and the raw earth mixed with the animal tang of the furs creates a powerful, enveloping aroma unique to these nights. Despite the press of bodies, the shared breathing, and the layers of rough bedding, there's an almost profound silence. No one speaks. Each person is deep in their own struggle for warmth, their own surrender to the segmented sleep pattern that governs these hours. You might instinctively pull your feet closer to the warmth of another's calves, a silent negotiation for vital heat. A small shiver runs through you, a quick tremor that you quickly suppress, not wanting to disturb the fragile peace. You find yourself murmuring a quick, silent prayer, a protective charm against the unseen spirits and dark omens that people say roam the night. It's a small gesture, born of a deep-seated belief, a subtle ritual woven into the act of going to sleep, adding another layer of defense against the unknown. Your body eventually settles, a heavy weight sinking into the straw, absorbing the precious, radiated heat from those around you. The furs, though primitive, hold their warmth with astonishing tenacity. It's a deep, weary satisfaction that comes from this shared warmth, this collective defiance of the cold. This isn't a passive rest, it's an active, tactile fight for warmth, a testament to the primal resilience of humanity, huddled together, breathing and surviving through the long, frozen night. And as you finally drift into your second, deeper sleep, you are a living thread in this ancient, unbroken tapestry of survival. A subtle, persistent itch begins. A phantom crawls somewhere on your arm that pulls you gently, stubbornly, from the sweet oblivion of your first sleep. You stir, shifting your weight on the rustling straw mattress, the movement sending a dry, earthy scent wafting upward. The darkness is absolute, thick and heavy, pressing in from all sides of the shared dwelling. You scratch, a reflexive, sleepy gesture, but the sensation doesn't quite dissipate. Then another tiny prickle, perhaps on your neck or along your ribs. It's not a bite, not yet, but a distinct presence. You know these tiny, unseen inhabitants of your straw bed intimately. They are the night's uninvited companions, an undeniable part of the medieval sleeping experience, and right now, they are beginning their own kind of watch. You try to ignore it, to sink back into the warmth you've carefully cultivated by pressing close to the bodies around you. The shared heat is a powerful, comforting thing, a bulwark against the winter's chill. But the itch intensifies, a series of delicate, irritating explorations across your skin. You shift again, trying to dislodge them, to find a patch of undisturbed straw, a futile endeavor. The mattress itself, a bulky sack stuffed with last season's harvest remnants, feels alive with their unseen movements. Your hand moves, almost unconsciously, sweeping across your exposed arm, a silent battle against an invisible enemy. You feel a faint, tingling sensation, a confirmation that you're not imagining it. A sigh escapes you, quiet and resigned, unheard by the deeper sleepers around you. This isn't just about discomfort, it's a constant, low-level irritation, a struggle for peaceful rest that you endure every night. You can almost feel them, these minute tyrants, crawling, perhaps even biting, leaving small, red welts that will become more noticeable in the morning light. The warmth of your own body, and the warmth of those pressed against you, creates a welcoming haven for them, a cozy, living environment within the dry straw. You pull your rough woolen blanket tighter, as if the fabric could somehow become an impenetrable shield, but you know it's useless. Your mind, now fully awake in this early part of the segmented night, grapples with the annoyance. You clench your jaw, resisting the urge to scratch furiously, knowing it only makes things worse. Instead, you focus on the sounds of deeper sleep around you. The soft snores, the rhythmic breathing, the gentle creak of the straw as someone else unconsciously stirs. You are not alone in this nightly ritual of endurance. There's a strange, quiet dignity in this constant, unseen struggle. It's a reminder of the raw, unfiltered reality of your existence, a battle waged silently, every single night, against the smallest, most persistent of foes. It's an itch that reminds you of the simplicity of your bed, the materials that fashion it, and the ever-present connection to the natural, untamed world, even within the supposed sanctuary of sleep. And as you wait for the incessant crawling to lessen, for the fatigue to finally drag you back into the second sleep, you carry the quiet, irritating burden of the night's tiny, tireless inhabitants. The rustle of straw beneath you is a constant, familiar sound as you shift, trying to find a comfortable hollow within the shared bed. It's not just your own movements you feel, but the subtle, unconscious shifts of the three other bodies pressed closely around you. Their warmth, a tangible presence against your back and along your legs, is both a blessing against the creeping cold of the unheated chamber and a constant reminder of the utter lack of private space. Your breath mingles with theirs, a soft, shared exhalation that perfumes the close air with the faint, earthy scent of humanity and dry straw. You've just emerged from your first sleep, a deep 4-hour slumber that fell swiftly after the sun dipped below the horizon. Now, in the dark heart of the night, a quiet wakefulness settles over you. There are no lamps, no candles to light your path, only the faint, distant glow of embers from the dying hearth in the main hall, offering no direct illumination here. You reach out a hand, blindly navigating the rough woolen blanket, confirming the solid, warm presence of your older brother beside you. His rhythmic breathing is a quiet, reassuring hum in the dense darkness. This isn't solitude. Even in this moment of personal reflection, you are never truly alone. The proximity of bodies means every sigh, every cough, every gentle turning is sensed, an unspoken symphony of shared existence. You hear the faint snore of your father, a low rumble from the far side of the bed, and the soft, almost imperceptible rustle of your mother adjusting her own position. There's a subtle intimacy in this shared vulnerability, a quiet acknowledgement that in this world, warmth and security are communal efforts. You find your mind drifting, contemplating the chores that await you tomorrow, the crops that need tending, the subtle anxieties of the day, all within inches of other dreaming minds. There's no escaping the immediate presence of others, no corner for true isolation. Even your thoughts, it feels, are shared on the currents of the shared air. If you needed to move, to stand, it would be a careful, silent choreography to avoid disturbing the others, a dance practiced countless times. Sometimes, a tiny itch pricks your skin, a reminder of the straw's less welcome inhabitants, the small, unseen creatures that share your bed. It's an accepted nuisance, a part of the reality of medieval bedding, quickly scratched and largely ignored in the greater scheme of finding warmth and rest. You pull the rough, communal blanket higher, nestling deeper into the huddle, savoring the radiating heat. As your mind calms, a new wave of drowsiness begins to pull at you. This is the precursor to your second sleep, a softer, more gradual descent into rest. The sounds of breathing around you become less distinct, blending into a comforting hum. The feeling of shared warmth, the quiet presence of your family, anchors you. This isn't a private retreat from the world, but a deep, shared immersion into the rhythms of the night. It's a profound testament to interdependence, a constant, unspoken bond woven into the fabric of sleep itself, where privacy is a luxury unknown, replaced instead by the enduring, vital embrace of shared humanity. The cool, unyielding hardness of the packed earth floor presses against your cheek, a stark contrast to the rustling warmth of the straw bed you've just abandoned. The faint scent of damp soil and dried herbs rises to meet you, a grounding aroma in the profound darkness of the chamber. You exhale slowly, a soft sound swallowed by the quiet, feeling the lingering stiffness in your muscles from the first sleep you took huddled with your family. Now, in the deep hours of the segmented night, a different kind of rest beckons. You shift, carefully adjusting your limbs to find a less awkward position on the hard ground. Your hip aches slightly as it meets the unforgiving surface, and your shoulder protests a moment later. This isn't comfort as most would define it, yet there's a strange, almost welcome relief in the coolness that seeps into your body, a respite from the often overpowering heat of the shared bedding, or perhaps from the incessant itch of unseen bedfellows. The air here, closer to the floor, feels marginally crisper, cleaner. You've chosen this spot, just outside the radius of the shared sleeping arrangements, seeking a fleeting moment of solitary peace, a personal pocket of cool air that your body craves. There's no soft pillow, only the crook of your arm, or perhaps a bundle of old cloth, offering a meager elevation for your head. Your thin blanket, pulled tight, attempts to bridge the gap between your body heat and the floor's persistent chill. It's a constant negotiation, this dance with discomfort. Around you, the soft snores and murmurs of your household continue, a backdrop of human presence that never quite fades. You hear the distant hoot of an owl, a sharp, clear sound cutting through the night from beyond the rough walls. Without the glow of any artificial light, the darkness is complete, a thick velvet shroud that blurs the edges of reality and allows your mind to wander in its own quiet space. You close your eyes, though it changes little in the visual landscape. Your body, weary from the day's labor, begins to adapt to the hard surface. The initial pangs of stiffness recede, replaced by a dull, pervasive ache that somehow feels less intrusive than the oppressive warmth or the scratching sensation of a bug-ridden mattress. It's a peculiar kind of surrender, a testament to the body's ability to find rest even in the most unaccommodating of circumstances. This is your watch, your period of wakefulness, spent not in active prayer or chores, but in a quiet, grounded reflection, a moment of separation before you seek your second sleep. The cool wood, the stiff joints, they are simply part of the rhythm, the texture of this unique night. You are connected to the earth directly, feeling its solid, ancient presence beneath you. It is a primal, humble sleep, stripped of all artifice, leaving only the raw, enduring resilience of your own body finding peace, however fleeting, in the stark reality of the medieval night. A dull ache throbs behind your eyes, a familiar companion in the deep hours of the segmented night. The air, crisp and cold, tastes faintly of spent wood smoke and the damp earth floor beneath your bare feet. You lean heavily against the rough timber post of the central support beam, the unyielding wood a stark contrast to the persistent thrumming fatigue in your back and shoulders. You've been awake now for what feels like an age, stirring through the midnight watch, perhaps tending to a quiet mending task or simply gazing into the dying embers of the hearth. Your head lolls, a heavy weight that suddenly feels too burdensome for your neck. Your eyelids, gritty and raw, fight a losing battle against the powerful pull downward. You try to focus on the faint, dancing shadows cast by the last, stubborn sparks in the hearth, but they blur, then vanish, then reappear with a disorienting flicker. A quiet snore from the shared straw bed, just out of your immediate sight, acts as a temporary anchor, but even that sound begins to drift, muffled and distant. You feel a sudden, involuntary jerk, a small spasm that jolts you upright, your heart giving a quick, surprised beat. For a fleeting second, you're lost, not quite sure where you are, the boundaries of wakefulness and slumber blurring into a disorienting haze. The world solidifies around you. The cold timber against your back, the scent of the dwelling, the profound darkness that presses in. You sigh, a small, weary sound, and try to re-establish a more comfortable lean, seeking the elusive edge of rest without fully surrendering to a true, second sleep. The chill in the air seems to amplify the weariness. You pull your simple tunic tighter around your body, wishing for the shared warmth of the communal bed, but a part of you craves this individual moment of quiet, however uncomfortable. This isn't a deliberate sleep, it's a momentary collapse, a brief, desperate surrender to exhaustion. Your mind races through snippets of the day, then slows, then stretches, untethered, into strange, half-formed images. You aren't dreaming, not truly, but you're no longer fully present either. Your breathing deepens, slowing to a quiet rhythm that matches the almost imperceptible sway of your body. The ache in your joints, the persistent chill, they become background noise, absorbed into the deep well of fatigue. For a few precious moments, the heavy burdens of the day, the looming tasks of the morrow, all recede. You are suspended in a liminal space, on the very threshold where the harsh realities of waking life give way to the strange, unbidden landscapes of a dozing mind. It is a brief, ungraceful peace, a testament to the body's insistent demand for rest, finding it wherever it can, even against a cold, hard post in the heart of a medieval night. The soft, persistent whimpers begin, a fragile thread of sound that slowly, relentlessly, pulls you from the depth of your first sleep. The absolute darkness of the night presses in, thick and heavy, punctuated only by the distant, rhythmic breathing of other sleepers. You stir, your body stiff from the hours spent huddled on the straw-filled mattress, and the small, bundled weight beside you shifts, the whimpers growing into a more insistent, reedy cry. Your arms, heavy with an exhaustion that feels as ancient as the night itself, instinctively reach out. You feel the warm, soft bundle of your child, pulling them close against your chest. The small head nuzzles, seeking comfort, and you begin the familiar sway, a gentle, rhythmic rocking that has become the soundtrack to these midnight vigils. Your back aches with the motion, a persistent, dull pain, but the need to soothe outweighs any personal discomfort. There is no lamp to light your way, no candle to banish the profound gloom. Only the faint, dying glow of embers in the hearth in the main hall offers a ghost of illumination, barely penetrating this far into the sleeping chamber. You rely on touch, on instinct, on the intimate knowledge of your child's needs. You can feel the warmth of their small body against yours. A tiny furnace of life contrasting with the pervasive cold seeping in from the wattle and daub walls. The crying continues, sometimes softening to a fretful murmur, then surging again. You bounce gently, hum a low, wordless tune, your voice a rough murmur in the quiet. This is your watch, not for chores or quiet contemplation, but for this vital, demanding task of parenthood in the heart of the night. You feel the tiny fingers grasp at your tunic, a desperate hold, and you gently guide the child closer, offering the comfort of your own body, a primal balm against whatever unseen torment plagues their slumber. You can almost feel the fatigue in your own eyes, a gritty, burning sensation. Your shoulders tense, then relax with the rocking, a cycle of strain and momentary relief. The hours stretch, long and indistinguishable in the impenetrable darkness. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the rhythmic motion take over, finding a strange, liminal space between wakefulness and dream. You are a silent sentinel, a tireless anchor in the vast, sleeping world. The child's cries slowly soften, eventually fading to soft sighs, then the deep, even breathing of sleep. You hold them for a long moment more, feeling the precious weight, before carefully, painstakingly, lowering them back to their small space on the shared straw. The release in your arms is immediate, a heavy relief. Yet your body still hums with the memory of the rocking. You settle back into your own space, your own waiting for second sleep, a quiet testament to the enduring, universal human bond between parent and child, forged in the profound, demanding darkness of a medieval night. A soft, insistent whimper begins, a fragile thread of sound weaving its way into the quiet darkness of your first sleep. You stir, your senses gradually returning from the deep slumber that enveloped you hours ago, shortly after the sun dipped below the horizon. The air is cool, carrying the faint, familiar scent of wood smoke and damp earth. Beside you, the small bundled form shifts restlessly, and the whimper rises, becoming a more demanding, reedy cry that pulls at the very core of your being. Your body, stiff from the straw-filled mattress and the previous 4 hours of communal sleep, protests slightly as you sit up. The darkness is profound, absolute, pressing in around you. There's no flickering flame, no guiding light, only the faint, distant memory of the hearth's embers that offer no help here. You reach out, your hands instinctively finding the warm, squirming weight of your child. You pull them close, the small body a furnace against your cool skin, and immediately begin the gentle, swaying motion that has become a nightly ritual. You feel the tiny, grasping fingers, the restless legs kicking against your tunic. The child's cries, though still present, begin to soften slightly as they feel the familiar comfort of your embrace. You bring them closer still, offering the warmth of your breast, the familiar scent of milk, a natural balm in the lonely hours of the night. You feel the tiny suckling mouth, a powerful, rhythmic tug that sends a surge of both tenderness and exhaustion through you. This is your watch, not for prayer or chores, but for this ancient, demanding vigil. As the child feeds, you hum a low, wordless melody, a soft, repetitive sound that you hope will lull them back to sleep. Sometimes, you murmur a quiet prayer, or a simple, rhythmic phrase, a gentle mantra against the anxieties of the night. Your gaze, though seeing nothing in the dark, rests on the unseen form of your child, willing them to find peace. Your own eyelids grow heavy, gritty with the effort of staying awake, but the rhythmic motion, the sound of the child's quiet swallowing, holds you tethered to this moment. The minutes stretch, timeless and indistinguishable in the profound gloom. Your arm aches with the continuous rocking, your back stiffens, but you persist. You feel the slow, gradual relaxation in the child's body, the quiet easing of their tension. The suckling softens, becomes less urgent, and then, after what feels like an eternity, ceases entirely. Their breath evens out, deepening, becoming the quiet, steady rhythm of sleep. You hold them for a long, tender moment, savoring the peaceful weight in your arms, before carefully, meticulously, returning them to their place on the straw mattress. The small body remains warm, a comforting presence. Your own body, though weary, feels a deep, quiet satisfaction. As you settle back into your own space, drawing your rough blanket close, the profound darkness no longer feels so oppressive. The rhythms of the night, the ancient lullabies, the enduring bond of care, have once again drawn both you and your child into the gentle, slow tug of second sleep, a testament to the quiet resilience of life lived by the sun's fading and returning light. The scent of dried lavender and a faint, acrid tang of rue wafts from the small, cloth sachet you tuck carefully beneath your straw-filled pillow. The rough edges of the sack scratch against your fingers, a small, tangible comfort against the encroaching vastness of the medieval night. You lie down on the communal bed, the rustle of straw beneath you a familiar song, but tonight, it feels louder, almost alive in the oppressive darkness that has swallowed the last vestiges of daylight. You shift, nestling into the warmth of your family pressed close beside you. But even their steady breathing and radiating heat can't entirely dispel the chill that creeps into your bones. A chill that feels more spiritual than physical. The air, heavy and still, seems to magnify every creak of the timber frame, every whisper of wind outside the crude walls. Your ears strain, listening, always listening, for any sound that doesn't belong. any hint of the unseen forces rumored to roam after sunset. Around the dying embers of the hearth earlier, stories were exchanged. Warnings whispered about specters that lurk in shadows, about malevolent spirits that seek to steal breath or sow discord. These aren't mere tales. They're the vivid, accepted realities of a world without artificial light to banish the night's potent mysteries. You remember the old woman's fervent warnings, the way her eyes gleamed in the firelight as she spoke of crossroads at midnight, of lost souls seeking solace, or worse, revenge. Your hand instinctively closes around the small, carved wooden cross that hangs from a leather thong around your neck. The wood feels cool against your palm, smooth from years of handling. You hold it tight, a silent prayer forming on your lips, a plea for protection. It's not just the dark, you realize, but what the dark represents. A realm where the ordinary rules bend, where the veil between worlds thins. You might be safe within these walls, but the mind, unburdened by chores or daylight, can wander into treacherous territory. A floorboard groans from another part of the dwelling, a mundane sound that makes you flinch, your heart giving a quick, startled beat. You pull the rough wool blanket higher, tucking it tight around your neck. You are trying to settle into your first sleep, but the mind insists on these final, protective rituals. The herbs beneath your head, the cross clutched in your hand, the whispered prayers, these are your shields. They are your fragile bulwarks against the fears that the light-starved world insists upon. As your breathing slowly deepens, and the insistent sounds of the night begin to fade into a distant hum, you feel a peculiar mix of vulnerability and fortified resolve. The darkness remains, vast and unyielding, but you are not entirely defenseless. You have your charms, your faith, your small, human gestures against the immense unknown. It's a profound connection to generations past, this need for solace in the face of the fearsome night, a testament to humanity's enduring struggle for peace in the deepest hours, before the sun, and with it, safety, returns. The sudden, sharp howl of the wind outside the wattle and daub walls makes you flinch, your heart giving a quick, startled lurch in the profound darkness. The gust rattles the crude window shutter, a sound that resonates far too deeply, conjuring images of unseen presences pressing against the fragile barrier between the known world and the terrifying unknown. You are in the midst of your watch, the period between your first sleep and second sleep, and the night feels vast, alive with whispers and shadows. You pull your rough wool blanket tighter around your shoulders, a meager defense against both the physical chill and the cold prickle of fear that creeps up your spine. The dying embers in the hearth, usually a comforting glow, have faded to almost nothing, offering no solace against the oppressive gloom. Every creak of the ancient timbers, every rustle of the straw beneath the communal bed where others sleep soundly, seems amplified, distorted into something sinister. Earlier, huddled around the meager fire, the elders spoke of things that walk the earth after the moon takes its highest place. Tales of restless spirits, of mischievous sprites, of malevolent forces that prey on the unguarded soul. You've heard them countless times, dismissed them as stories for children, yet now, in the suffocating silence of the deep night, those narratives replay in your mind with chilling clarity. You try to conjure images of daylight, the familiar fields, the bustling market, but the darkness absorbs them, leaving only the stark, unsettling canvas of your own imagination. Your breath catches in your throat as a small, scratching sound emanates from the corner of the room. A mouse, surely. A rat. But your mind, unbidden, leaps to other possibilities. Is it the night hag, pressing down on the chests of sleepers? Or perhaps a lost soul, seeking entry, its icy touch a harbinger of doom. You strain your eyes, trying to pierce the absolute blackness, to discern a shape, a movement, anything that would confirm reality over superstition. But there is only an impenetrable void, mirroring the fear that now swirls within you. You close your eyes, pressing them tightly shut, as if that could banish the unseen threats. You murmur a quick, desperate prayer, the words of thin shield against the encroaching terror. Your fingers instinctively seek out the small, worn wooden charm you keep hidden beneath your straw pillow, a simple protection against the evils of the night. It feels solid, real, a tiny anchor in a world suddenly adrift in fear. This is the true terror of a world without artificial light, not just the absence of vision, but the terrifying freedom it gives to the human mind, allowing ancient fears and whispered tales to take tangible form. It shapes not only how you wake, but how you dare to close your eyes again. As you finally drift towards the promise of second sleep, the stories of ghostlight and fear mingle with the quiet resilience of your own beating heart, a stark reminder of the tenuous hold humanity has on the perceived safety of night. A bitter, earthy taste coats your tongue, clinging to the back of your throat even after you swallow the last gulp of the cooling herbal draught. It's a concoction of brewed poppy and perhaps a touch of chamomile, prepared meticulously by the village elder who understands the gnawing weariness that lingers even after your first sleep. You shiver slightly, not from cold, but from the raw, potent sensation as the liquid slides down. You are sitting on the edge of the communal straw bed, your back aching from the day's relentless toil in the fields. The air inside the dwelling is heavy with the scent of damp earth and stale wood smoke, and the darkness outside is absolute, a thick, velvet blanket pulled tight over the world. Your watch period, that waking hour between sundown's first sleep and the dawn's promise of a second, has been less for prayer or quiet contemplation and more for an acute awareness of your body's profound fatigue. As the draft settles in your belly, a subtle warmth begins to unfurl, spreading slowly through your limbs. The sharp edges of your body's aches soften, blurring into a dull, comforting thrum. Your eyelids, heavy with their own exhaustion, feel less burdened, less resistant to the powerful pull downwards. You lean back, allowing the rough texture of the straw to press into your tired muscles, feeling the residual warmth of others who have long since surrendered to their slumber. The fear of the night, usually a faint, persistent hum beneath your thoughts, seems to recede, dulled by the herbal infusion. The rustle of the straw as you shift, the distant hoot of an owl, even the subtle scratching of unseen creatures in the eaves. These sounds, which might normally spark a flicker of unease, now feel distant, benign. You can almost feel the tension seeping out of your shoulders, melting away into the cool, silent air. Your head lolls, heavy and pliant. The subtle scent of the herbs, mingling with the natural musk of the dwelling, becomes a gentle, pervasive lullaby. You are not simply tired. You are being guided, gently but firmly, towards a deeper, more profound rest than your weary body usually permits. This is the ancient wisdom, distilled into a bitter draught, turning the often restless period of the watch into a slow, deliberate journey back to the heart of sleep. You stretch out, finding a comfortable position amidst the shared warmth, and pull the coarse wool blanket up to your chin. The straw rustles again, a final whisper, as you finally surrender to the deepening calm. The darkness no longer feels oppressive but protective, a soft cocoon. The herbal sedation has smoothed the rough edges of your fatigue, easing the path to the elusive second sleep. It is a profound, almost luxurious release, a brief, blessed escape orchestrated by the earth's own remedies, a testament to humanity's enduring need for true, restorative rest in a world defined by its natural rhythms. The rough, packed earth of the road feels like a memory embedded in the soles of your feet, even now, as you finally collapse onto the straw-filled pallet. Every muscle in your body screams, a deep, persistent ache that vibrates through bone and sinew. The air in this simple waystation, thick with the scent of damp wool, lingering cooking fires, and the unwashed bodies of other weary travelers, is strangely comforting. You've walked for days, a journey of purpose and profound physical cost, and the mere thought of stillness is a luxury. You manage to pull a coarse blanket over yourself, feeling the scratch of the rough wool against your travel-grimed skin. Beside you, others are already surrendering, their heavy breathing filling the dim space. There are no fancy beds here, no private chambers, just a shared expanse of straw and the collective heat of fellow pilgrims seeking respite. The fading light from a single, sputtering tallow candle casts long, dancing shadows, then flickers out, plunging the room into the absolute, enveloping darkness of a medieval night. Sleep claims you almost immediately, a heavy, irresistible current pulling you under. It's not a gentle drift, but a profound plunge into oblivion, a first sleep born not of custom, but of sheer, unadulterated exhaustion. You feel your consciousness recede, the aches in your limbs fading into a dull background hum, your mind emptying of the endless tally of steps, the grit of the path, the gnawing hunger. For a few blissful hours, you are utterly gone, surrendered to the body's primal demand for rest. Then, as the world outside remains steeped in darkness, you stir. It's the familiar turning point, the natural rhythm of your watch period. But unlike at home, there's no urge for chores, no quiet conversation. Your eyes, accustomed to the dark, open to the unchanging void. Your mind, though no longer in the grip of first sleep, still feels steeped in a heavy, dazed tranquility. You shift, flexing your calves, feeling the stiff protests of your feet, and then lie back, simply existing in the quiet. This is the pilgrim's watch, a period of weary introspection, a silent gratitude for shelter, a brief pause before the next descent into rest. The profound stillness of the hour blankets you. You hear the soft snores of another traveler, the gentle shifting of straw, and nothing else. There are no fears here tonight, no haunting superstitions, just the deep, unyielding fatigue that has been your constant companion. It is a powerful, organic medicine, this weariness, clearing your mind and body more effectively than any herbal draught. You close your eyes, already feeling the subtle, slow tug back towards slumber. The second sleep arrives easily, a natural continuation, deep and dreamless. This exhausted sleep at the waystation is a testament to the raw, visceral human need for rest, a simple, undeniable truth in a life of constant motion. It's the profound healing that comes not from an elaborate ritual or a soothing potion, but from the sheer, undeniable weight of a body pushed to its limits, finally finding a momentary, blessed peace in the quiet heart of the night. The very fabric of time shifts beneath you, season by season, dictating when your eyes choose to open and close. You know this truth in your bones, a primal rhythm far older than any bell or clock. Imagine, if you will, the longest days of summer. The lingering blush of evening barely fades from the western sky, a pale lavender and rose, even as you settle onto your straw pallet. It's late by the sun's clock, but not truly dark, not yet. The air, warm and heavy after a long, sun-drenched day in the fields, brings with it the distant hum of insects and the sweet scent of hay. Your body, weary from the extended hours of daylight labor, yearns for rest, but the persistent glow feels like a gentle whisper, a reminder of the short summer night ahead. You fall into your first sleep, easily, a deep, heavy plunge born of sheer exhaustion. But it feels brief, almost fleeting. It seems only moments before a subtle shift in the darkness, a barely perceptible lightening, tugs you awake. This is your watch, but tonight, it feels truncated, squeezed between a protracted dusk and an impatient dawn. The air is cooler now, but not cold, carrying a dewy freshness. You simply lie, listening to the softened chirping of crickets, feeling the earth rush through its nocturnal cycle. A quick, whispered breath before the light bursts forth again. You feel the pull towards your second sleep, a lighter, shallower slumber, even as the first pale fingers of dawn begin to stretch across the sky, shortening your night's rest, preparing you for another long, sun-drenched day of toil. Your body, though rested, carries the faint echo of drowsiness, a constant hum from so many hours spent under the relentless summer sun. Then, the wheel of the year turns. Now, imagine a bitter winter night. The absolute, suffocating darkness descends early, swallowing the feeble midday sun as if it never existed. You fall into your first sleep, shortly after supper, a deep, heavy descent into oblivion, a powerful surrender to the overwhelming gloom and cold. But when you stir, hours later, for your watch, the darkness has only deepened. It presses in, thick and palpable, a heavy blanket that feels as though it might never lift. The air is sharp, icy, clinging to your lungs with every breath, even with the shared warmth of bodies on the communal bed and the faint, dying heat of the banked hearth. This watch stretches out, vast and seemingly endless. The profound quiet is broken only by the distant, mournful howl of the wind, or the crack of frost in the ancient timbers of the dwelling. There is no urgency here, no impatient dawn looming just beyond the horizon. Instead, you have the luxury of time within the long night. Your mind, uncluttered by the day's demands or the pressure of immediate rising, drifts in the silent expanse. You might pull a worn animal hide closer, huddling for more warmth, even as you simply reflect, listening to the slow, deep breathing of your family, drawing comfort from their presence in the vast, cold dark. When you finally allow yourself to sink back into your second sleep, it's a deep, powerful return, a hibernation that lasts for hours, until the reluctant, gray light of a late winter dawn finally begins its slow, arduous creep over the horizon. Your body awakens slowly, having savored the long, uninterrupted stretch of dark, prepared for a day that will offer only a fleeting glimpse of the sun before plunging back into the profound, enduring night. The human rhythm, dictated by the sun's brief, fleeting passage in winter, finds its truest resilience in embracing the long, deep sleeps that replenish and sustain. The last sliver of the sun dips below the horizon, painting the western sky in hues of orange and deep purple, and you feel an undeniable shift, a biological imperative that courses through your very being. The air, crisp with the coming night, ushers in a subtle chill, reminding you that with the fading light, the day's activities must also swiftly conclude. You finish your simple supper, the taste of boiled greens and coarse bread still fresh on your tongue, knowing that this is the last sustenance you will take until the sun's return. The lack of light, the absence of flickering lamps or glowing hearths, means no late-night feasting, no lingering over a final morsel. Your body, accustomed to this enforced fasting, already begins to settle, preparing for the long stretch of dark hours ahead. You move to the communal straw bed, the rustle beneath you a familiar, comforting sound. The darkness descends quickly, thick and absolute, far more profound than anything a modern world could know. There are no lamps to chase away the shadows, no candles to extend the day. Your world shrinks to the immediate confines of your senses. The warmth of bodies pressed close for heat, the muffled sounds of breathing, the earthy scent of straw. You surrender to the deep, heavy pull of first sleep, a profound descent into unconsciousness that feels earned after a day entirely dictated by the sun's passage. It's a sleep that replenishes, a primal, restorative slumber. Then, hours later, without the chime of any clock, you stir. Your body simply knows. The darkness is still complete, an inky black that presses in on your eyes, even when open. This is your watch, the natural waking period that arrives midway through the night. You shift, your mind clearing, remarkably alert despite the hour. But what is there to do? There are no books to read by candlelight, no tasks that require intricate vision. Perhaps you tend to the last, fading embers of the hearth, adding a small piece of wood to coax a faint glow, just enough to see the familiar shapes of your family sleeping beside you. Or maybe you simply lie there, listening to the deep, slow breathing of your loved ones, your thoughts drifting in the quiet, unburdened expanse of the night. This period of wakefulness is not one of frantic activity, but often one of quiet reflection, of internal focus, a stark contrast to the busy, illuminated days. Your stomach feels light, empty from the long fast, yet there's no gnawing hunger, only a sense of clarity. This enforced break from eating contributes to the quality of your rest, a deeper, more undisturbed sleep. The world outside remains silent, save for the whisper of the wind or the distant call of a nocturnal creature. You feel the slow, steady rhythm of the earth turning, a palpable sense of time passing without artificial markers. As the pre-dawn hours draw near, you feel the familiar, gentle tug towards second sleep. It's a softer, lighter return to slumber, a final stretch of rest before the inevitable return of the sun. You close your eyes, the profound darkness embracing you once more. You know that soon, the faintest gray will begin to creep through the cracks, signaling the start of a new day, and with it, the resumption of work, of meals, of life entirely governed by the presence and absence of light. Your existence is a testament to the sun's unquestioned rule, a profound dance between light and shadow that dictates every hour, every action, and every moment of rest. The rich, savory scent of cooking meat and simmering pottage wafts towards you, pulling you irresistibly towards the main hall. It's the high point of your day, the dinner, served when the sun stands highest in the sky, casting its brightest, most commanding light through the open doorway. You feel a deep, rumbling hunger, a constant companion throughout the morning's arduous tasks, now ready to be appeased. You take your place at the long wooden table, reaching eagerly for the trencher, a thick slice of stale bread that will serve as your plate. Hands reach, bowls clatter, and the robust sounds of communal eating fill the space. You tear at the roasted fowl, still warm and succulent, or scoop a generous portion of thick stew onto your bread, soaking up every drop of its nourishing broth. This is your main meal, a substantial replenishment for the long hours of work that stretch before and after. Your body accepts this midday feast with gratitude, fueling the muscles, warming the belly, fortifying you against the demands of a life tethered to the sun. As the afternoon light begins its slow, inevitable retreat, deepening into long shadows, your thoughts turn once more to food, but this time, to a simpler, lighter affair. The supper comes before the sun fully dips below the horizon, a smaller, less substantial offering. Perhaps it's a bowl of thin gruel, or a piece of cheese with a handful of dried fruit, just enough to quell the last of the day's hunger before the absolute darkness descends. You eat quickly, mindfully, aware that this is your final opportunity to take sustenance. There are no flickering lamps or abundant candles to extend the evening's activities, no hidden stores of food to pluck from in the deep hours of the night. The hearth, which provided the heat for your meals, will soon be banked, its embers dying down to a dull, secretive glow. Once the last crumb is eaten, the table is cleared, and a profound quiet settles over the dwelling. The kitchen, once a bustling hub of activity, now stands empty, an unspoken rule dictating its silence. The lack of artificial light and the absence of any means to preserve food mean that late-night snacking is simply impossible. Your stomach, digesting its final meal of the day, begins to settle, prepared for the long, fasting hours of the night. You move towards your straw bed, feeling the innate rhythm of your body, harmonizing with the natural world around you. When you surrender to your first sleep, hours later, it's a deep, undisturbed rest. There is no digestive discomfort to stir you, no heavy meal weighing on your slumber. Your body is clean, empty, and ready for true restoration. And when you stir for your watch, in the heart of the dark, your mind is clear, unburdened by the demands of digestion. You simply exist in the quiet, reflective space of the night, your body already aligned with the cycles of sunrise and sunset. This ancient practice, this simple obedience to the sun's command over mealtimes, creates a stark, beautiful clarity in your sleep. It is a testament to humanity's innate resilience, finding rest not through elaborate comforts, but through a profound, natural alignment with the world's oldest, most unwavering clock. A faint, distant growl in your belly breaks the profound stillness of the night. It's not a painful hunger, but a low, persistent thrum, a reminder of the long hours since your last mouthful. The taste of your simple supper, perhaps a small portion of gruel or a piece of dry bread and cheese, has long since faded from your tongue. You swallowed the last bite before the sun even touched the western hills, watching the light drain from the sky, knowing that the empty table would remain so until dawn. You shift on the straw-filled mattress, the rustle of the dry stalks a familiar sound in the oppressive darkness. This is your watch, the natural waking period between first sleep and second sleep. You've been awake for some time, your mind surprisingly clear, unclouded by the haze of overfullness. The air in the dwelling is cold, carrying the faint, lingering scent of wood smoke that barely penetrates the thick, inky blackness. You pull the rough wool blanket closer, feeling the rough texture against your cheek. A fleeting thought of food passes through your mind, a memory of the savory stew from midday, dinner, or the sweetness of a late summer berry. But it's just a thought, a wisp. You know, without needing to rise, that there is nothing to be had. The hearth, where your meals were cooked, is now a cold, dark pit, its embers long since died. There is no store of food kept for the deep hours of the night, no magic box that keeps things cool or edible. The concept of a midnight snack is as foreign as a soaring castle in the clouds. The darkness, absolute and unyielding, enforces a strict discipline. Once the sun sets, so too does the opportunity to eat. This enforced fast, this complete emptying of your stomach, profoundly shapes your experience of the night. The subtle growl in your gut is not distracting, but rather, an odd kind of clarity. Your dreams during first sleep felt lighter, less troubled by heavy digestion, more vivid, perhaps. And now, during this wakeful interlude, your thoughts feel sharper, less sluggish. There's a quiet alertness, a sense of your body functioning cleanly, efficiently, even in repose. You lie still, listening to the soft breathing of your family sleeping nearby, a comforting presence in the vast, silent night. The cold air presses in, but the warmth generated by shared bodies keeps the worst of it at bay. There's a certain peace in this hunger, a knowing that it is temporary, a natural part of the cycle. It is the body's way of preparing for deeper, more restorative rest, unburdened by the labor of digestion. As the hours crawl towards the reluctant dawn, you feel the gentle, undeniable pull back into slumber. This second sleep promises to be as deep and undisturbed as the first, a direct benefit of the long, clean fast. You close your eyes, the profound darkness once again embracing you. The absence of midnight feasting isn't a hardship now, but a natural rhythm, shaping not only your body but the very landscape of your dreams and the profound clarity of your nocturnal wakefulness. A testament to enduring human resilience aligned with the oldest rules of sun and shadow. A shiver, sharp and insistent, snakes through your body, pulling you from the heavy shroud of first sleep. You stir on the straw mattress, the rustle of dry stalks a low murmur in the profound darkness that presses in from every corner of your dwelling. It's the deep of the night, your familiar watch period, but tonight, an urgent, instinctual call tugs at your consciousness, the animals. Their low grunts and subtle shifts from the nearby byre, where they share the warmth of the small structure, reach your ears even through the walls. You push back the rough wool blanket, feeling the immediate bite of the cold air against your exposed skin. Your breath plumes before your face, a fleeting ghost in the inky black. There's no fire to greet you, only the faint, dying embers in the hearth offering no meaningful warmth. You pull on your thickest tunic, hands fumbling in the absolute absence of light, guided only by memory and touch. Stepping outside, the cold truly grips you. The air slices, raw and damp, making your eyes water. Above, the moon hangs like a sliver of bone in a sky dense with stars, providing just enough ethereal light to outline the familiar shapes of your world, the barn, the well, the sleeping, silent fields. Your boots crunch on the frozen ground as you make your way to the byre, the door creaking open with a protest that sounds deafening in the stillness. The animals shift, their large, warm bodies a welcome presence in the frigid air. The scent of hay, manure, and warm beast fills your nostrils, a comforting aroma of sustenance and survival. You move through the stalls, your hands familiar with the rough wooden beams, the texture of the dried fodder. You scoop handfuls of hay, tossing it into mangers, hearing the soft snorts and contented munching as the cows and sheep begin their midnight meal. Your fingers, stiff with cold, deftly unlatch the pigsty, pouring out a bucket of slop with practiced ease, listening to the eager squeals and slurping sounds. Your breath continues to cloud before you, each exhale a visible testament to the biting cold you endure for their well-being. This is not a choice, but a necessity, a crucial rhythm in the endless cycle of your life. The animals, your livelihood, depend on your vigilant care, even in the deepest, coldest hours of the night. You check the water troughs, breaking a thin skin of ice with the edge of your hand, ensuring they can drink. Your movements are deliberate, quiet, respecting the profound silence of the sleeping world, yet infused with the quiet urgency of a shepherd tending his flock. With the tasks complete, your body is chilled but invigorated, a sharp contrast to the languid ease of first sleep. You re-enter your dwelling, the warmth of shared bodies on the straw mattress now an inviting beacon. You pull the blankets up to your chin, feeling the last vestiges of the outdoor cold slowly recede. As you drift back into second sleep, a deeper, more profound rest, you carry with you the silent satisfaction of duty fulfilled under the vast, uncaring eye of the moon. It's a testament to human resilience, these acts of midnight tending, a timeless dance between necessity and the natural rhythms of life and slumber. A profound, heavy silence descends, pressing in on all sides. It's not just the absence of sound, but an almost physical weight, punctuated only by the distant hoot of an owl or the rustle of straw beneath you. You've woken from your deep, first sleep, a natural stirring in the middle of the night, what you call the watch. The air inside your humble dwelling is cool, carrying the faint, earthy scent of damp wood and banked embers. But what truly strikes you, every single night, is the absolute, unyielding darkness. You push yourself up, sitting on the edge of your straw pallet, and peer through the small, unglazed window. Outside, the village is swallowed whole by an inky blackness, far deeper than any modern mind can conceive. There are no flickering street lamps to guide a late traveler, no distant glow from a neighboring hearth. Every door is firmly latched, every shop shuttered tight, a silent testament to the sun's absolute reign. The bustling communal square, so vibrant with activity just hours ago, now feels like a ghostly expanse, an empty stage awaiting dawn. You know that beyond your protective walls, superstitious beliefs thrive in this void. Tales of wandering spirits or shadowy figures, making any unnecessary venture outside a fool's errand. The very notion of keeping a shop open past sunset is ludicrous. Without the fierce light of day, or the bright, constant glow of artificial lamps, commerce simply ceases. Imagine trying to weigh grain or count coin in this impenetrable gloom. It's an impossibility. The rhythm of life here is not dictated by the ticking of a clock, but by the relentless rise and fall of the sun. As the last sliver of light vanished, the village collectively drew its breath and retreated, pulling its energy inward, waiting for the world to be reborn with the sun's return. Within your dwelling, though, this waking period isn't empty. You might stir the embers in the hearth, coaxing a faint, orange glow that dances briefly, casting long, dancing shadows. Perhaps you attend to a quiet chore that requires no light, like mending a worn tool by touch, or simply sitting in thoughtful reflection. The absence of external stimuli encourages an inward turning, a mental journey through the day's events or the plans for tomorrow. You feel your mind clear, refreshed by the profound quiet, unburdened by the constant demands of light and labor. There's a peculiar clarity that comes with this midnight wakefulness, a calm that exists only when the world outside is completely, utterly asleep. After a time, the pull of second sleep begins to assert itself. You slide back under the heavy blankets, feeling the warmth of shared bodies seep back into your chilled limbs. The silent village outside holds its breath with you, waiting. As you drift back into slumber, you carry the echo of that vast, expectant dark, a silent promise that the sun will eventually break the spell, reminding you of the deep, humbling connection humanity once had to the raw, unadorned rhythm of day and night. A faint, greasy scent, a mix of rendered animal fat and smoke, tickles your nose, a smell instantly recognizable as the luxury of light. You stir from your first sleep, pushing back the scratchy wool blanket, the straw mattress rustling softly beneath you. It's the deep of the night, your watch period, and an unusual flicker of light dances across the rough-hewn beams of the ceiling. Tonight, a tallow candle has been lit, a rare indulgence, its small flame a defiant pinprick against the oppressive, absolute darkness that usually reigns. You sit up, drawn by its fragile glow. The air is cool, carrying the familiar chill of a world without central heating, but the presence of the candle adds a different dimension. It's not bright, not like the sun that dictates your days, but it creates a small, shifting circle of visibility, pulling the familiar objects of your dwelling out of the gloom. You see the worn texture of your wooden chest, the faint pattern on a hanging cloth, details that are utterly swallowed by the night for most of your waking hours between sleeps. This tiny flame is a marvel, a temporary victory over the vast, unseen dangers of the dark. But this luxury comes at a cost, a visceral reminder of effort and resource. Wax candles, for the truly wealthy, or even rarer, smelling of honey and purity, but tallow, made from animal fat, carries the scent of the beast, a humble, essential smell of life and sacrifice. You know that every hour this flame burns is an hour of precious resources consumed. A sliver of fat or wax that could have been saved, traded, or used for another purpose. There are no switches to flip, no endlessly flowing supply of electricity. Light itself is a tangible commodity, paid for with labor and livestock. You watch the flame dance, mesmerizing in its fragility. It illuminates the faces of your family sleeping near you, casting long, wavering shadows that make familiar features seem strange, almost otherworldly. In this fleeting moment of artificial illumination, you might attend to a simple task that truly benefits from a sliver of sight. Perhaps a careful prayer read from a treasured, illustrated page, or mending a delicate tear that your fingers alone could not guide in the pitch black. The ability to see beyond the length of your own arm in the deep night is a powerful, almost magical thing. As the tallow dwindles, the flame sputtering, the greasy scent becomes more pronounced, a final exhale before returning to the void. You reach out, carefully pinching the wick, extinguishing the precious light. The darkness rushes back in, absolute and immediate, like a heavy cloak pulled over your eyes. The world shrinks once more to touch, sound, and the warmth of shared bodies. The cost of seeing, even for a short while, is too great to sustain for long. You settle back down, the ghost of the tallow scent lingering, a memory of defiance against the night. As you drift into second sleep, the contrast between the brief, smoky light and the profound, natural darkness feels deeply ingrained, a truth of existence, shaping not only how you lived your waking hours, but also how you understood the very act of vision itself. A soft creak overhead, the ancient timber of your dwelling settling into the deep of the night, pulls you gently from the folds of your first sleep. You stir on the straw-filled mattress, the dry rustle of stalks a faint accompaniment to the profound quiet that has consumed the world outside. It's the familiar hour of your watch, that interstitial space between sleeps, and the sheer absence of sound is almost a presence in itself. No distant rumble of carts, no clamor of voices, no artificial hum of unseen engines. Just the raw, unadulterated night. You push yourself up, sitting on the edge of your bed. The air is cool, carrying the faint, earthy smell of the banked hearth and the lingering scent of damp soil from outside. Your ears, sharpened by the encompassing silence, begin to pick out the subtle symphony of this sleeping world. Beyond the occasional creak of your own home, you hear the whisper of the wind snaking through the gaps in the wattle and daub, a low sigh that sounds like the world itself is breathing. Sometimes, a distant dog barks, a sharp, sudden punctuation mark in the dark, quickly swallowed by the vast quiet. You wonder what it senses, what unseen presence might be stirring in the shadowed fields or along the winding path. Superstitions often bloom in this silence, the quiet allowing thoughts of what lies unseen to take root. Was that a branch scraping the roof, or something else? Something the old wives' tales warn you to guard against? You pull the rough wool blanket closer, a small, unconscious gesture of protection. The cold, too, has its own sound, a subtle tightening in the air, a sharpening of every other noise. Then, cutting through the blanket of silence, comes a deeper, more resonant sound. Bong, a single, sonorous note, carried on the cold night air from the distant church tower. Bong, bong, perhaps 3 times, marking an hour, or the call for monastic matins, a reminder that even in this deep isolation, time is being counted, prayers are being said. It's a sound that binds the scattered dwellings, a shared understanding of the nocturnal rhythm, a whisper of order in the vast, untamed dark. The echoes linger, a ripple fading slowly back into the profound quiet, leaving you with a sense of both your smallness and your connection to something larger. You listen, and as the last resonance dies away, the world returns to its more intimate sounds. The soft breathing of your family sleeping near you, the almost imperceptible scurry of a mouse in the thatch. These are the sounds of survival, of life continuing even when the visible world is dormant. There is a strange comfort in this primal soundtrack, so unlike the ceaseless din of the waking day. Eventually, the soft cadence of the night's whispers begins to lull you. You lie back down, feeling the rough texture of the bedding, the warmth from your shared companions. The distant dog, the creaking timber, the church bell's echo, they are not disturbances, but rather, elements of a natural lullaby. You drift back into your second sleep, a deeper, more profound rest. A testament to the profound adaptation of humanity to a world where light was a luxury and silence was the constant, shaping both your perceptions and your enduring resilience. A faint, sweet scent, perhaps of lavender or rose, woven into the rich tapestries that enclose your bed, gently pulls you from the warm depths of your first sleep. You stir on a mattress filled with soft feathers, a luxurious gift beneath you that is a world away from hard straw. It's the deep of the night, your body naturally rousing for the watch, but the experience within these noble bedchamber curtains is utterly distinct. You push back the heavy velvet, the fabric thick and cool against your hand, silencing any hint of the castle's slumbering sounds. The air within your draped sanctuary is surprisingly still and warm, held close by the heavy hangings. Outside the curtains, a low, steady glow emanates from the grand fireplace across the chamber, where a servant, silent as a shadow, ensures the logs continue to crackle, keeping the persistent chill of the stone walls at bay. Even your night's rest is attended, a subtle testament to your station. You sit upright, the soft linen of your nightshirt a comfortable second skin. The perfumed air, perhaps from a carefully placed sachet or a fragrant oil burned hours ago, lingers, chasing away any unwelcome staleness. You don't rise to tend to animals or to physical chores. Instead, this waking period offers a rare moment of quiet contemplation. You might run a hand over the intricate embroidery on the bed hangings, your mind drifting through the day's affairs, the petitions presented, the decisions made. There's a certain clarity that comes with this solitary nocturnal pause, a space for thought unburdened by the relentless demands of daylight. The bed itself is a grand stage, a 4-poster fortress of comfort and status, entirely unlike the communal sleeping arrangements of common folk. Here, privacy is not just a comfort, but an expectation, reinforced by the opulent curtains that can be drawn entirely shut, creating a private world within your chamber. Yet, even in this privacy, there's an awareness of the silent world beyond the drapes. The soft shuffling of the unseen attendant by the fire, the distant, muffled clang of a guard's armor in the hallway. These are the sounds of a castle that never truly sleeps, a subtle constant beneath your own segmented slumber. You might reach for a small, illuminated manuscript, its precious pigments shimmering faintly in the soft, ambient light cast by the distant fire. Your fingers trace the intricate lettering, a quiet study or prayer undertaken in the tranquil solitude of your waking watch. There's no rush, no urgency to this period, only the gentle ebb and flow of your body's natural rhythm, indulged by the comforts that surround you. After an hour or two, a familiar weariness begins to settle in, a signal for your second sleep. You draw the heavy velvet curtains once more, retreating into your perfumed, cushioned world. The fire continues its vigil, the unseen attendant a quiet guardian of your rest. As you drift back into a deeper slumber, the luxurious warmth and the lingering scents envelop you, a profound contrast to the rough realities of the world outside. A sleep that speaks not just of rest, but of privilege, ritual, and the enduring humanity that seeks comfort and meaning even in the deepest hours of the night. A jolt of biting cold sears your skin as you stir, pulling you abruptly from the shallow warmth of first sleep. You're curled on a thin pallet by the wall, perhaps on a hard wooden bench, far from the grand, curtained bed where your noble charges find their rest. It's the deep of the night, the hour of the watch, not for your own needs, but for theirs. The air around you feels like a damp, heavy cloak, carrying the faint, smoky scent of the dying fire from the hearth, a comfort only for the truly privileged. You push yourself upright, your muscles stiff, each movement a quiet effort to avoid disturbing the slumber of others in your shared corner. Your breath mists before your face, a stark visual of the pervasive chill that permeates the castle's servants' quarters. You listen for the subtle sounds from the noble chamber beyond your small, cold space. A rustle of heavy fabric, a clearing of a throat, faint indicators that your lord or lady has stirred from their own first sleep. Your hands, calloused and accustomed to labor, quickly pull on a thick, coarse tunic, the wool scratching against your skin. You move with practiced quietness, your bare feet padding silently over the cold flagstones, navigating the familiar, unlit corridors. There are no precious tallow candles for your path. Only the memory of the layout guides your steps through the absolute darkness. You are a shadow moving amongst shadows, your duty defined by the rhythms of those you serve. Reaching the noble chamber, you slip in, almost unnoticed. The difference in temperature is immediate, a sudden, welcoming embrace of warmth radiating from the steadily burning fireplace. You approach the hearth, a silent sentinel, placing fresh logs with soft, deliberate motions, coaxing the flames to dance higher, chasing away the encroaching chill for the occupant of the grand bed. The crackle of the wood is the only sound you permit. You might adjust a heavy tapestry to block a draft or ensure the scented oils in a nearby censer are refreshed, your presence a subtle reassurance, a silent guardian of their midnight wakefulness. While your noble might use this time for quiet reflection or prayer, your purpose is purely practical. You observe from a respectful distance, ready to respond to any unspoken need, your own need for the watch, now intertwined with theirs. You remain in this liminal space between your own segmented sleeps, until you sense their readiness to return to their second sleep. Only then, with the fire robust and the chamber settled, do you quietly retreat. Back in your own cold corner, The warmth of the noble chamber still a lingering memory, you settle back onto your hard pallet. The chill immediately reclaims you, but a different kind of weariness now weighs on your limbs. You pull the thin blanket closer, seeking the elusive comfort of your own body heat. As you drift towards second sleep, a deeper, more fragmented rest, you carry the stark contrast of the two worlds. The warmth and perfumed ease of the noble's slumber, and your own hard-won, often interrupted peace, a quiet testament to the enduring human spirit that finds resilience in the face of life's stark inequalities. A sharp, earthy tang of parchment and cold ink assaults your senses, pulling you from the shallow depths of your first sleep. You stir on a narrow cot, the straw mattress rustling thinly beneath you. It's the deep of the night, long past the last glow of sunset, and the scriptorium is steeped in a profound, heavy silence, broken only by your own soft breathing. This is the watch, your natural waking period, but tonight, your purpose extends beyond simple prayer. You push yourself up, the chill of the unheated stone room seeping through your thin tunic. Your fingers, already accustomed to the cold, reach for the small tinderbox by your bedside. With a practiced hand, you strike the flint, a tiny spark blooming into life, then quickly coaxing a flicker from a thin sliver of kindling. The effort is deliberate, reverent, for this fragile light is a precious thing. Soon, a small tallow candle stands on your simple wooden desk, its feeble flame casting dancing shadows across the high vaulted ceiling. The greasy scent of rendered animal fat mixes with the clean, almost metallic smell of iron gall ink, filling your small pool of light. Outside, the world is an abyss of absolute darkness, but here, in this solitary glow, a new world begins to form. You arrange your tools with silent precision, the smooth piece of parchment, ready to receive its sacred text, the carefully sharpened goose quill, the small pot of black ink, its surface reflecting the candlelight like a tiny, liquid mirror. Your eyes, strained from the day's work and the dimness, adjust to the focused intensity required for this midnight labor. There is no other light, no other distraction, just the task at hand. As your fingers steady the quill, dipping it into the rich, dark ink, you feel a deep, quiet reverence. This work, transcribing ancient texts, illuminating sacred letters, is a devotional act. The faint scratch of the quill against the vellum becomes the only sound in your universe, a rhythmic whisper of creation. Each stroke is deliberate, each letter a small victory against the impermanence of time, a beacon against the fading memory of knowledge. Your back might ache, the cold might bite at your exposed hands, but the focused intensity of the work pushes these discomforts to the periphery. Sometimes, a distant bell will toll, marking the monastic hours, a reminder that others are also awake, engaged in prayer or their own quiet duties. But for you, this specific watch is given to the parchment, to the spreading of words. You feel the slow passage of time not by the clock, but by the dwindling stub of the candle, the growing lines of text on the page, the subtle stiffening in your shoulders. As the candle burns lower, casting longer, more dramatic shadows, you feel the familiar pull of second sleep beginning to assert itself. You carefully cap the ink, lay the quill precisely, and smooth the nascent page. The work will wait for the dawn. Extinguishing the flame, the darkness swallows everything, but the ghost of the words, the faint scent of ink, and the memory of creation linger. You return to your cot, carrying the deep satisfaction of having added a small, lasting light to a world often steeped in obscurity, a testament to the enduring human need to create, to preserve, and to find purpose even within the quietude of the night. A dry, woody scent, almost medicinal, rises to meet you as you stir, a familiar signal that your first sleep has run its course. You push off the rough wool blanket, feeling the chill of the unheated chamber immediately prickle your exposed skin. It's the profound quiet of the deep night, your watch period, a time that feels uniquely yours in the rhythm of the medieval world. You slide off the simple cot, your bare feet meeting the cold rush of the stone floor. No artificial hum fills the air, no distant rumble of traffic, just the soft, insistent quiet. You fumble for the flint and steel by your bedside, the metallic click and scrape echoing loudly in the stillness as a spark finally catches the tinder. A small, carefully trimmed wick in a saucer of oil quickly blooms into a fragile flame, casting a dancing pool of amber light in the surrounding gloom. The faint aroma of burning oil joins the woody scent, a distinct perfume of nocturnal industry. You move to a small, sturdy table, its surface littered with the components of your quiet passion. Perhaps it's a delicate piece of joinery, intricate carvings taking shape under your skilled hand, or perhaps the meticulous preparation of herbal tinctures, grinding dried roots and leaves with a mortar and pestle. The rhythmic thump-scrape thump a soothing counterpoint to the silence. The absence of daylight distractions sharpens your focus, allowing thoughts to flow unimpeded, problems to unravel with a clarity impossible in the bustling hours. Your fingers, nimble and experienced, reach for a small, sharp tool, a bone stylus, a fine-bladed knife. You lean closer to the flame, the warmth a welcome kiss on your cheek, letting the precious light illuminate the minute details of your work. The careful incising of a line, the precise mixing of powders, the slow, meditative process of creation. This isn't a race against the sun, nor a response to another's demands. This is time for pure, unadulterated thought and painstaking craft. The chill might slowly creep up your spine, your stomach a gentle reminder of the long hours since supper, but the hunger for completion, for understanding, is a stronger force. You might pause, lifting your gaze from the intricate pattern or the carefully measured ingredients, and simply listen. The castle slumbers, the village beyond hushed. Only the faint, almost imperceptible creak of settling timbers or the distant hoot of an owl punctuates your concentration. It is a world stripped bare, leaving only your hands, your mind, and the flickering light to guide you. As the oil lamp begins to dim, its flame shrinking, a natural weariness descends. The intricate details blur slightly at the edges, your shoulders ache with the sustained focus. It's a signal, not from a clock, but from your own body, from the fading light. You carefully put your tools away, smoothing the unfinished surface of your craft, or sealing the herbal preparations for the morning. Extinguishing the lamp, the darkness rushes back, profound and complete, but it carries a different weight now. It's no longer simply the end of the day, but a space carved out for concentrated effort, for the quiet blossoming of skill and thought. You return to your cot, feeling the chill once more, but also a deep, quiet satisfaction. As you settle back into the straw for your second sleep, the memory of your meticulous work, of problems solved and beauty created in the heart of the night, remains a profound testament to the human spirit's ability to find purpose and quiet resilience in the hidden hours. A subtle, persistent itch along your arm, followed by the faint, earthy smell of old straw and the body heat of those sleeping beside you, tugs you from the haze of your first sleep. You groan softly, a private sound swallowed by the deep quiet of the hut. It's the middle of the night, the hour of the watch, and the persistent guests in your mattress have decided it's time for their own nocturnal activities. You shift on the straw-filled pallet, the dry stalks rustling beneath you, a sound as familiar as your own heartbeat. Your fingers instinctively rub at the irritated skin, seeking relief that you know will only be temporary. The mattress, shared with family members to conserve every precious bit of warmth against the pervasive chill, is also a home to countless tiny, unseen inhabitants. You feel their subtle movements, a faint scritch that might just be your imagination, or the undeniable reality of a bug's journey across your skin. The darkness is absolute, broken only by the faintest, dying embers in the hearth across the room, casting weak, dancing shadows that do little to pierce the gloom. The air is heavy, a mix of wood smoke, damp earth, and the unavoidable scent of many bodies crowded together. Your awareness, sharpened by the segmented sleep, picks up the soft, rhythmic breathing of your loved ones around you, a comforting sound, yet one that also underscores the shared discomfort. You pull the rough wool blanket up higher, a futile gesture against the tiny invaders, but it's a ritual nonetheless. You know better than to truly rise for any significant chores. The cold is too biting, the need for warmth too great. Instead, you endure this watch, nestled as deeply as possible into the shared warmth, your body a small furnace against the relentless night. Sometimes, you'll hear a soft sigh or another sleepy shift from a bedmate, an unspoken acknowledgement of the collective struggle against the night's minor torments. Your mind drifts, perhaps a half-dream, half-wakeful reflection on the day's tasks, or the prayers you recite silently to ward off both cold and the unseen evils that old tales say roam the night. These small, protective charms, mental or physical, are a necessity in a world so attuned to the mysteries of darkness. The constant, subtle irritation beneath your skin acts as a tangible anchor to this reality, a physical manifestation of the less than ideal conditions of medieval life. After an hour or two of this silent vigil, feeling the restless energy of your own body begin to settle, and the itch perhaps subsiding for a brief respite, you feel the profound pull of second sleep. You adjust your position once more, the straw crunching softly, and seek out the deepest pocket of warmth, pressing closer to a sleeping shoulder or back. As you finally drift back down into a more profound slumber, leaving the subtle tickle and the earthy scents behind, there's a quiet resignation to it all. This discomfort, these unseen companions, this shared warmth in the dark, it's simply the way of the world. It's a testament to the enduring human spirit, finding rest and resilience even when surrounded by the tiny, relentless challenges of a medieval night. The grit of the road still clings to your teeth, a ghost of the day's long journey, even as you lie on a surprisingly soft, straw-filled mattress. Your body, weary from endless miles on foot or bouncing on a cart, finally succumbs to a deep, heavy, first sleep. But then, just as the moon climbs high, a gentle stirring within you, a primal rhythm, pulls you back towards wakefulness. It's the familiar hour of the watch, yet this place feels utterly different. You push yourself upright, no longer stiff with the cold and damp of the open road, but instead surrounded by a subtle, sweet fragrance. Perhaps it's a sachet of lavender tucked beneath your pillow, or the faint, earthy aroma of dried herbs hanging from the rafters of this secluded sleep retreat. The air is still, hushed, a profound quiet unlike the clatter of a bustling inn or the creak of your own village home. Here, the only sounds are the rustle of leaves outside or the gentle murmur of a nearby stream, a lullaby woven by nature itself. Your eyes, accustomed to the absolute darkness of the journey, discern the faint outlines of the simple, peaceful room, perhaps illuminated by a small, carefully tended lamp in a corner, its light a soft invitation, not a harsh intrusion. This is a place dedicated to rest, a rare luxury for many. You've journeyed far, fueled by a deep desire to quiet the restless mind and mend a weary body, seeking out the ancient wisdom preserved in these quiet havens. A soft knock, a quiet figure entering, offers you a warm, clay mug. The steam carries the scent of something herbal, earthy, and mildly bitter. You lift it to your lips, the warmth spreading through you, a sensation of ancient medicine beginning its gentle work. This is no ordinary midnight waking. This is a deliberate ritual, a blending of your body's natural cycle with practiced remedies. You sit in quiet contemplation, sipping the infusion, letting your thoughts drift. No urgent chore demanding your attention, no fear of lurking shadows outside. The superstitions that cling to the dark, so potent in your village, feel distant here, replaced by a sense of calm and healing intent. You might feel the tension ease from your shoulders, the persistent hum of fatigue beginning to quiet. The bitter-sweet liquid slowly works its way, preparing your body, not for action, but for a deeper, more profound return to slumber. The journey here was exhausting, each step a testament to your desperation for true rest, and now, in this tranquil space, that physical weariness seems to finally meet its match. After the mug is empty, you lie back down, the straw beneath you feeling softer now, infused with the gentle scent of herbs. The darkness returns, but it's a benevolent darkness, rich with the promise of undisturbed rest. As you drift into your second sleep, the memory of the long, arduous travel, the aches in your muscles, and the restless nights spent on hard ground, fades into a quiet background. You are here, finally, surrendering to the natural rhythm, finding solace in the age-old methods of healing and the simple humanity of seeking profound peace. A deep sigh escapes your lips, not of exhaustion from heavy labor, but of a quiet, internal shift. The brief, purposeful hours of your watch are winding down, leaving behind a profound stillness that the deepest part of the night always brings. You've stoked the hearth one last time, perhaps, the last ember now a fading red eye in the packed earth, or you've offered a silent prayer for the dawn, and now, the raw, damp chill of the small dwelling begins to seep into your bones once more, urging you back to warmth. You move across the hard-packed floor, your bare feet padding softly, each step a testament to the innate human knowledge of space in absolute darkness. The air smells faintly of damp earth and old straw, a constant companion in your humble home. Your mind, sharp and clear moments ago with midnight thoughts or whispered reflections, now softens at the edges, slowly unfurling its grip on the active world. The body remembers the deeper rest that awaits, the natural inclination to re-surrender to slumber. Reaching the communal bed, you slide back into the familiar press of other sleeping forms. A shoulder here, a leg there, each body a small furnace against the pervasive cold. The straw-filled mattress rustles beneath you, a comforting sound of homecoming. You pull the rough wool blanket higher, tucking it around your chin, seeking that precious pocket of shared warmth. The chill still pricks at your exposed skin, but the presence of others is a profound comfort, a bulwark against the vast, cold night. You settle, letting your muscles relax, feeling the last vestiges of your waking period drain away. Your awareness fades from the mundane, the chores that wait, the anxieties of the day, and begins to merge with the quiet rhythm of sleep around you. There are no sudden jolts of light, no artificial alarms to shatter this transition. Instead, the darkness remains absolute, yet it holds a different promise now. It's no longer the active, demanding darkness of the watch, but a receptive, gentle dark, a cocoon for the returning slumber. As your breathing deepens, slowly aligning with the soft, rhythmic sighs of your family, you feel yourself drifting, a soft descent back into the depths. This isn't the abrupt collapse into first sleep after a long day, but a more gradual, almost deliberate unfolding into rest. The sounds of the outside world, if any, are muted, filtered through the thick walls and the blanket of sleep. You might feel the subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the pre-dawn air, a thinning of the darkness that heralds the sun's distant approach, a silent signal that your second sleep is a bridge to the new day. You sink deeper, the awareness of the straw, the cold, the shared body heat, all dissolving into a state of profound peace. This gentle re-entry into slumber, a fundamental part of life in a world without electric light, speaks to a different kind of human resilience. It's not just about enduring the night, but about honoring the body's wisdom, finding deep rest in fragmented segments, and trusting the natural rhythm that carries you through the quiet hours to meet the dawn, renewed. A soft, persistent chill clings to your skin even beneath the rough wool blanket as you finally settle back into the straw mattress. The quiet vigil of your watch, those few hours spent stoking the hearth, sharing hushed thoughts, or simply reflecting in the profound darkness, is now complete. A deep, heavy weariness, distinct from the initial exhaustion of sundown, pulls at you, guiding you gently back towards the embrace of second sleep. You slide deeper into the communal warmth, the familiar scent of dry straw and slumbering bodies enveloping you. The lingering cold from your brief midnight waking still pricks at your exposed hands, but the promise of a more profound rest now claims you. This particular sleep, often considered more potent, more fertile ground for the mind's mysterious wanderings, draws you down with an almost irresistible pull. As you drift, the world of the hut dissolves, replaced by a vivid, often unsettling tapestry of images. You plunge into a realm where logic bends and reality twists. Perhaps you find yourself walking familiar paths, yet the faces of your neighbors are subtly altered, their voices carrying cryptic warnings you cannot quite grasp. A sudden flight of ravens across a bruised, green sky might fill you with dread, an omen for the coming harvest, or the faint, echoing toll of a bell signals a loss yet to befall the village. These aren't just idle fancies. They carry weight, the perceived whispers of fate, or messages from the realm beyond mortal sight. The sensations are palpable. The crushing weight of a prophetic burden, the exhilarating lightness of a hopeful vision, or the cold dread of a ghostly encounter. You might feel a pang of guilt over an unspoken sin, manifesting as a chase through thorny woods, or the warmth of a departed loved one's embrace, a brief comfort that fades with the dream. This is not simply rest, it's an encounter with the unknown, a journey through the subconscious landscape of a medieval mind, deeply attuned to omens and the unseen forces of the world. Then, you surface, not with an abrupt jolt, but a slow, gradual rising. The dream images, so vibrant moments ago, cling to the edges of your awareness like dew, shimmering before they evaporate. A cold sweat might prickle your brow, or a quiet tremor run through you, leaving a distinct impression, a taste of the dream's lingering power. Was it merely a jumble of the day's anxieties, or a true visitation? A divine warning or a demonic temptation? You lie there, utterly awake yet still bound by the receding tendrils of sleep, the weight of the dream settling heavily upon you. You know you will carry this vision with you into the faint, growing light of morning, a mystery to ponder. It's a message that might demand interpretation from the wise woman, or confession in hushed tones to the priest. This quiet humanity, grappling with the hidden narratives of the night, is a testament to the enduring human need to find meaning and guidance, even in the most shadowed depths of the sleeping mind, bridging the seen and unseen worlds before the new day truly begins. A faint, almost imperceptible scratching at your rough wooden door pulls you from your quiet contemplation. You've been awake for your watch, stoking the low embers in the hearth, finding a peculiar peace in the deep, silent hours. The sound, small as it is, resonates loudly in the vast stillness of the night, a surprising ripple in the expected isolation of the first sleep interlude. You rise from the warmth of the hearth, the packed earth cool beneath your bare feet, and move with a soft tread towards the sound. Your hand reaches for the heavy wooden bar, a moment of primal caution stirring within you. Night is a time of shadows and whispers, where fear can take root easily. But then, a soft, familiar cough from the other side. You recognize it immediately, and the tension in your shoulders eases. You slide the bar, the sound a low thunk that seems to echo in the dark. The door creaks open just enough to reveal a sliver of deeper night, and then, a small, wavering glow. It's your neighbor, Alara, her face shadowed beneath the hood of her cloak, a humble tallow lantern swinging gently from her hand. The light is meek, barely pushing back the encroaching darkness, but it offers a shared beacon in the profound black. You nod, a silent invitation, and she steps inside, pulling the door shut behind her with a soft click, sealing out the raw, damp cold. She moves to the hearth, her hand automatically reaching towards the fading warmth, a shared instinct. There are no boisterous greetings, no loud exclamations, only the quiet understanding that brings someone to another's door in the dead of night. Perhaps her own fire died, or a restless child in her home needed a moment of calm that only your shared quiet can provide. You add a small piece of wood to the embers, coaxing a faint curl of smoke and a fragile flicker of renewed life. You sit together by the hearth, the dim, dancing light painting shifting patterns on the rough walls. The low hum of the lantern, the soft crackle of the kindling, are the only sounds. Your eyes meet hers, a deep, silent recognition passing between you. This is a time for shared humanity, for unspoken burdens and quiet solace. You might pass a hand over your tired eyes, a gesture she understands. She might offer a small, reassuring smile, a connection forged in the liminal space between sleeps. There's a particular kind of intimacy in these midnight visits, a vulnerability that daytime hours rarely allow, where the shared struggle against the cold and dark draws people closer. After a time, a stretch of comfortable silence filled only by the quiet breaths of those still in their first sleep, Alara shifts. The subtle movement is a signal. She stands, adjusting her cloak, her low lantern casting long, distorted shadows as she prepares to leave. You walk her to the door, the chill of the outside waiting, but the lingering warmth of your hearth, and the shared moment, feels like a shield against it. As she slips back into the vast darkness, her lantern's glow slowly shrinking down the path, you are left with the quiet resonance of her visit. The world outside remains dark and mysterious, full of the ancient superstitions that cling to the night. But inside, by the gently rekindled fire, a different kind of warmth settles within you. It's the profound, quiet resilience found in shared human connection, a small, flickering light against the overwhelming dark, making even the weird, segmented rhythms of medieval sleep a testament to enduring community. A sharp, distant bark rips through the profound stillness of your watch, pulling your senses taut. You've been awake for some time, tending the dwindling embers in the hearth, finding a quiet rhythm in the deep, silent hours between first sleep and second sleep. But that sound, a village dog, not one of your own, carries an edge of urgency, a primal alert that sends a shiver down your spine, despite the relative warmth of the rekindled fire. You press closer to the rough stone wall of your hut, unconsciously holding your breath, straining to hear beyond the soft crackle of wood. The air inside smells of smoke, damp earth, and the slumbering bodies around you, a familiar comfort. But the darkness outside, impenetrable and vast, seems to press against your very dwelling, turning every rustle of leaves, every whisper of wind, into a potential threat. You feel a subtle thrum beneath your bare feet, as if the very ground transmits the village's collective vigilance. Another bark, closer this time, followed by a low, guttural growl that vibrates through the night. Your eyes, accustomed to the gloom, dart towards the unglazed window opening, though you know there's little to see. It's the utter lack of artificial light that makes these hours so potent, so filled with imagined dangers and real ones. Your mind races, conjuring images. A stray wolf, perhaps, emboldened by hunger, or worse, the shadow of a human intruder. A bandit testing the village's defenses. You listen for the familiar heavy tread of the village guard, or the call of a neighbor's voice. Sometimes, during these midnight hours, you'll hear them, a reassuring presence, moving among the huts, checking the livestock pens, ensuring the gates are secure. Your hand instinctively brushes against the small, carved wooden charm hanging near your bed, a silent prayer for protection against both earthly and unseen evils that ancient lore says roam freely under the moonless sky. The dog continues its agitated barking, now joined by another, a cacophony that sends ripples of unease through the sleeping village. You know that others, like you, are now stirring from their first sleep, or perhaps were already awake for their own watch, ears straining, hearts quickening. This shared anxiety, this collective listening, forms an invisible thread connecting every household, a silent pact of vigilance in the face of the encroaching night. You think of the loose gate near the creek, the one old Thomas always forgets to secure, and a fresh wave of concern washes over you. Then, a new sound emerges, cutting through the barks. A low whistle, followed by a gruff, human voice, calm but firm. It's the guard, his presence a sudden anchor in the sea of fear. The barks gradually subside, replaced by the soft jingle of a dog's collar, then the steady, receding footsteps of man and animal, moving away from the village edge. A sigh of relief, silent and profound, escapes you. The immediate danger, whatever it was, has passed. You retreat from the window, the cold seeping from the stones. The brief, intense surge of adrenaline begins to recede, leaving a familiar exhaustion in its wake. This constant, rhythmic vigilance, woven into the very fabric of your segmented sleep, is a harsh master but a necessary one. As you settle back into the straw, seeking the warmth of your sleeping family, you realize that true rest is never quite complete, always shadowed by the inherent vulnerability of human life, reliant on both communal watchfulness and the fading light of a low lantern against the consuming dark. It's a testament to how profoundly human existence was shaped by the rhythms of the natural world, demanding a persistent resilience, even in the depths of night. A faint, metallic tang of hunger stirs in your belly, pulling you gently from the depths of your first sleep. You stretch, the straw mattress rustling beneath you, a soft symphony accompanying your awakening for the watch. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and yesterday's hearth smoke, a familiar perfume of your small dwelling. As you sit upright, the gnawing sensation persists, a dull ache that echoes the emptiness within. Your mind drifts, perhaps to the memory of the main meal, dinner, eaten at midday, or the lighter, supper, consumed just as the sun began its swift descent. The tastes of bread, perhaps a bit of salted fish or a hearty vegetable stew, are distant echoes now, swallowed by the passage of hours. A longing for something warm, something substantial, flickers within you, a primal urge that modern life might call a late-night snack. But the notion is fleeting, quickly dismissed by the stark reality of your world. You glance towards the small, dark corner that serves as your pantry, your storage. The impenetrable darkness swallows it whole. No warm glow from a conveniently placed lamp illuminates shelves laden with easily accessible food. There is no artificial light to guide your hands, no preserved leftovers in a cool chest that could tempt you. The cold, damp air there offers no promise of comfort, only the threat of spoilage. To even attempt a meal now would be a monumental task. You would need to navigate the absolute dark, fumble for flint and steel to strike a new flame, carefully coax a fresh fire from the dying embers, all while risking a spark setting the dry straw of your bed ablaze. And what would you even cook? The food from supper, if left out, would be suspect, perhaps already turning. Fresh provisions require light to prepare, and a fully stoked fire takes time, time that encroaches on the precious hours of your watch, and the impending second sleep. The thought of preparing a meal now feels almost absurd, an indulgence you cannot fathom. The sheer effort, the risks involved, simply outweigh the fleeting satisfaction of a full stomach. So, you learn to let the hunger settle, to become a quiet companion during these midnight hours. It's a discipline your body has learned, a natural rhythm imposed by the world itself. You stoke the embers not for cooking but for warmth, and perhaps to simply gaze into the mesmerizing, dancing light, your mind clear and unburdened by digestion. This enforced fasting, this quiet surrender to the emptiness, shapes your nocturnal experience. It sharpens your senses, perhaps, or lends a peculiar clarity to your thoughts. There's a subtle strength in this daily practice, a resilience born from aligning with the raw, untamed rhythms of the earth. As you finally settle back down for your second sleep, the faint rumble in your gut is a reminder not of lack, but of a deep, ancient connection to the natural cycle. A stark contrast to a future where light and sustenance are always just a switch away. It's a fundamental part of the quiet humanity that defines this segmented sleep, a testament to enduring patience and the body's surprising capacity to adapt. A dry, insistent ache gnaws at your stomach, a quiet, almost companionable grumble in the profound darkness of your watch. You've been awake for some time now, the initial slumber of first sleep, having gently released you into this meditative interlude. The air around you, thick with the scent of damp earth and the ghost of last evening's hearth smoke, feels cold and empty, mirroring the hollowness within. Your tongue flicks across your lips, tasting only the dryness of the night. A faint, phantom memory of supper stirs in your mind. The coarse, heavy texture of the bread, perhaps, or the thick, slightly congealed consistency of porridge, eaten hours ago as the sun dipped below the horizon. The memory is tactile, almost painful in its clarity, a contrast to the present emptiness. You recall how that bread, freshly baked, had absorbed the last warmth of the day's fire, how the porridge had steamed against the chill. Now, such thoughts feel like a cruel trick of the waking mind. You shift on your straw mattress, the rustle a low whisper in the quiet. To seek out sustenance now, in this absolute black, would be an exercise in futility, bordering on the absurd. Your hand might instinctively reach out, touching the rough wool blanket, then the packed earth floor, a gesture of searching, but there is nothing. No soft glow of a lamp guides your way to a larder, no cooled larder stocked with leftovers. Any morsel of bread not consumed at supper would be hard as stone by now, perhaps nibbled by mice if not properly stored. The porridge, if any remained, would be cold, stiff, and likely spoiled, a risk no one would dare take. The very idea of attempting to rekindle the fire, to coax a fresh flame from the dying embers for a mere mouthful, feels impossible. The effort, the precious few hours it would steal from your watch, and your impending second sleep, weigh heavily. The pervasive cold discourages any movement beyond necessity. So, you settle back, letting the hunger sharpen your senses rather than dull them. It's a clean hunger, unburdened by the rich, heavy foods of the day, a constant reminder of the body's reliance on the sun's rhythm, on the structured mealtimes. This emptiness is not just a physical sensation, it shapes your mind. There's a peculiar clarity to these midnight hours, an unburdened sharpness of thought that comes from fasting. You reflect on the day, plan for the morrow, pray, or simply let your thoughts drift, unimpeded by the sluggishness of digestion. The absence of a late-night meal is not a deprivation, but a fundamental aspect of your existence, a rhythm as ancient as the turning earth. As you finally lie back down, preparing for the deeper dive into second sleep, the persistent but muted pang of hunger is a familiar presence. It is a testament to the enduring human body, its remarkable ability to adapt, to find rest even when it yearns for more. It's a quiet humility, living in profound alignment with the seasons, the sun, and the stark reality of what can, and cannot, be had in the deep, unlit hours of the medieval night. A tiny, shuddering whimper slices through the hushed stillness of your watch. You've been awake for what feels like an hour, sitting quietly by the dying embers, thoughts drifting in the deep space between first sleep and second sleep. The sound, barely audible, comes from the small, warm huddle of bodies beside you on the straw mattress, and your heart immediately clenches. It's your youngest, stirring from a nightmare. You turn carefully, shifting your weight on the rustling straw, the subtle movements creating a low symphony in the profound darkness of the hut. No lamp or candle casts even a sliver of light. The night is absolute, a thick, velvet shroud that presses in on all sides. You reach out, your hand seeking the small form, and your fingers brush against a child's arm, cold and damp with a sudden sweat. A sharp gasp, then a frantic, soft struggle beneath your touch. You gather the small body closer, pulling it against your chest, sharing your warmth. The rapid beat of their tiny heart thrums against your ribs, a frantic pulse that speaks of terror. You feel the tremor running through their small frame, hear the quick, shallow breaths. In the medieval night, dreams are not just random images. They are portals, whispered warnings, or encounters with the unseen forces of the dark, the mischievous sprites, the chilling ghosts, the evil spirits that folklore says prey on the innocent. Your fingers instinctively trace the outline of a small, carved wooden cross, an heirloom passed down through generations, tucked into the child's rough linen shirt. You murmur a few low, ancient words, a prayer for protection, a plea for blessed sleep to return. You feel the child's head burrow into your shoulder, the warmth of their breath against your neck a fragile comfort. You rock gently, a slow, rhythmic sway that aims to soothe the lingering fear, to chase away the lingering shadows of the nightmare. It's an effort, a profound expenditure of your own limited rest, yet it is utterly instinctive. Slowly, the frantic shivers subside. The tiny breaths deepen, growing more even. The clammy skin against your own begins to warm, absorbing the shared heat. You press a soft kiss to their hair, a silent blessing in the darkness, hoping to seal away the bad dreams, to ward off the dangers that lurk just beyond the hut's walls. This sacred responsibility, this constant battle against the terrors of the night, is a core part of your existence. As the child finally settles back into a deeper, more peaceful slumber, you remain awake, holding them close. Your body aches with the familiar exhaustion of a parent, yet a quiet solace settles within you. It's a powerful, elemental act of human tenderness, battling the ancient fears with nothing but touch, whispered prayers, and the profound, enduring bond of love. This quiet vigilance, this fierce protection in the deepest hours of night, is a testament to the unyielding spirit of humanity. A comfort against the cold, vast expanse of a world without electric light, where even dreams hold sway. A sudden, biting draft of air whispers across your cheek, startling you from the gentle embrace of first sleep. You shiver, pulling your arm closer to your body. The contrast between the chill of the hut and the heavy warmth of the shared blanket stark and immediate. You stir, sensing the presence of others pressed close around you, their soft breaths a rhythmic counterpoint to the profound stillness of the watch. You shift, the straw mattress rustling with a dry, familiar sound beneath you, a subtle symphony of your bed. Your legs tangle with another's, a warmth quickly appreciated, a comfort in the deep, unlit hours. The single, thick wool blanket, rough against your skin, is a lifeline, a shared shield against the pervasive cold that seeps through the mud and wattle walls of your home. You feel the weight of it, the coarse texture, a testament to its necessity. No central hearth radiates heat throughout the dwelling now. The embers in the main fire have long since dwindled to a low, sleepy glow. It is the communal body heat, the collective furnace of your family, that keeps the biting winter night at bay. You press closer, instinctively seeking out the warmth from the bodies around you. A child's small, trusting back, the solid presence of a parent. Each exhalation, each heartbeat, contributes to this fragile, shared warmth, creating a small island of life in the vast, cold ocean of the medieval night. Your hand reaches out, not searching, but simply confirming. Your fingers brush against a sleeping arm, the skin warm, radiating life. You feel the subtle rise and fall of chests, the comforting presence that extends beyond simple physical closeness. In the absolute darkness, where sight is useless, touch becomes paramount, a constant reassurance against the unseen. You pull the rough blanket a little higher, tucking it more securely around your shoulders, sharing the precious fabric, making sure no cruel gap lets in the icy air. Sometimes, during these waking hours, you find comfort in the quiet intimacy of this shared space. The closeness isn't just for warmth. It fosters a unique sense of security, a palpable bond. There's a certain resilience to it, knowing that you are not alone in the face of the encroaching darkness and the biting chill. This shared coverlet, threadbare and patched, represents far more than mere fabric. It's a testament to ingenuity, to the human capacity for collective survival. As you finally settle, preparing to slip into second sleep, the distinct scent of warm bodies, damp straw, and the faint, lingering smell of wood smoke fills your nostrils. You feel the steady, reassuring warmth against your side, the collective exhalations forming a soft, invisible cloud of life. This shared sleep, under one blanket, is a profound act of endurance, a silent story of human connection woven into the very fabric of medieval life. It's a powerful, tangible reminder of how closeness and shared resources were not just practicalities, but an intrinsic part of humanity's quiet fight against the harsh, indifferent night. The chill seeps into your bones the moment the sun dips below the horizon, pulling the warmth from the air with surprising swiftness. You feel the deep, primal tug of approaching night, a signal to your body to prepare for first sleep. The fading light outside your small dwelling, now a mere memory against the darkening sky, means your day's labors must cease. No flickering lamp extends your waking hours. Instead, the profound darkness encourages an early retreat to the straw-filled mattress you share with your family. You drift into that initial slumber, a heavy, dreamless descent into the quietude. But then, after several hours, a familiar shift stirs you. Your body, without the tyranny of artificial light, simply awakens. This is your watch, the natural interlude between first sleep and second sleep, a period when the world outside is cloaked in absolute darkness. Yet your mind feels remarkably clear, unburdened. You lie still for a moment, listening to the soft, even breathing of your loved ones beside you. The air in the hut is cool, carrying the scent of damp earth and the lingering memory of wood smoke. This deep, unlit expanse of night creates a unique intimacy. With the demanding chores of the day long past and the frantic rush of morning still hours away, this quiet stretch allows for a different kind of connection. Your hand might gently find another's, a silent affirmation in the consuming dark. It is in these long, unhurried stretches of night, unmarred by the glare of modern lights, that the cycles of human life naturally align with the Earth's own rhythm, fostering the very essence of continuation. Perhaps a child stirs, a soft murmur beside you. Without the jarring shock of a sudden light, you can easily gather the small one, offering comfort, a quiet breast, or a soothing hum. Your body is already awake, attuned to the subtle needs of your family, seamlessly integrating care into this natural rhythm of sleep and wakefulness. The lack of rushing, the absence of an urgent need to return to a continuous slumber, means these moments of childcare feel like a natural extension of your watch, not an interruption. You feel the slow beat of your own pulse, a quiet strength in the profound stillness. This ancient dance of darkness and light, of first sleep and second, shapes your existence, dictating not just your rest, but the very fabric of your family life. It's a profound testament to how humanity once lived, deeply interwoven with the Earth's turning, a cycle so different from a world where light chases away the night. As you finally turn, settling back into the warmth of shared bodies for your second sleep, you carry the quiet understanding of a life lived in harmony with the oldest, most powerful rhythms of all. The rough, itchy texture of straw pricks at your skin as you stir, pulling you unexpectedly from a heavy sleep. Your eyelids flutter open, but the darkness is absolute, a thick, velvet curtain that presses in, allowing no hint of light to penetrate. Confusion washes over you. What time is it? Where is the familiar soft glow of the digital clock, the comforting hum of the refrigerator? You reach out, blindly fumbling for the phone you always keep on your bedside table, only to meet nothing but cool, damp air and the rough, packed earth of the floor. A wave of disorientation, a strange sense of loss, flickers through you. There's no switch to flick, no instant illumination to banish the profound black. You are truly, utterly enveloped by night, a night far deeper than any you have ever known. The silence, too, is heavy, broken only by the soft, rhythmic breathing of other bodies huddled close beside you on the communal straw, and the distant, mournful hoot of an owl. This isn't your bed. This isn't your room. You push yourself up, the dry rustle of straw a loud protest in the quiet. Your eyes strain, desperately searching for any shape, any outline, but there is nothing. Just the deep, ancient dark, pressing against your modern expectations. The cold, too, is a shock, a pervasive chill that creeps under the rough wool blanket you share, reminding you that there is no central heating, no thermostat to adjust. Your body yearns for the simple comfort of a warm room, a clean, soft mattress, and the uninterrupted slumber you've always taken for granted. But then, a different sensation begins to assert itself. A quiet awareness, a peculiar clarity in your mind. This isn't wakefulness born of anxiety or insomnia, but something else entirely. It feels natural. You find yourself simply sitting, gazing into the impenetrable black, and your thoughts begin to drift, unbidden, unhurried. No endless scrolling, no emails to check, no news to consume. Just the quiet hum of your own consciousness. You realize this is the watch, the period between first sleep and second sleep, a concept utterly alien to your modern understanding. Yet, your body, stripped of artificial light and incessant stimulation, seems to remember. It settles into this ancient rhythm, a profound adaptation. You might find yourself murmuring a forgotten prayer, or simply reflecting on the day's labors, the scent of earth and the distant animals settling into the quiet space around you. The absence of the familiar comforts of your own time forces a profound shift. The longing for a late-night snack, for a quick sip of cold water from the fridge, is swiftly dismissed by the sheer impracticality of navigating this lightless, heatless world. Instead, you learn to embrace the emptiness, the quiet, the forced slowing of time. It's uncomfortable, certainly, even a little frightening in its unfamiliarity, but there's a strange, unexpected peace that begins to emerge. As you finally lie back down, tucking the shared blanket around you, the cold still present but less insistent, you prepare for second sleep. You close your eyes, no longer fighting the deep darkness, but surrendering to it. You are experiencing not just a different way of sleeping, but a different way of being, a connection to an older, more resilient humanity, one that moved with the sun and stars, and found a peculiar strength in the quiet, unlit hours of the night. It's a profound recalibration, understanding that true rest isn't always about comfort, but about harmony with the elemental world.